crashes. 40 westbound before Fessler's Lane. South Loop, 40 eastbound near 4th Avenue. Mount Juliet, a sinkhole. Right lane block. North Mount Juliet Road northbound at Northwest Rutland Avenue. Creve Hall, stalled vehicle left shoulder block 65 southbound near the Hogan Road overpass. And a crash, Metro Center 65 southbound at Rosa Parks. Glencliff, a crash, right lane block 24 westbound near the Antioch Pike overpass. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, boys and girls. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Glad to have you with us just after 3 o'clock, 3:07 to be precise. Thank you for being around with us. Whatever time you're able to give us, we certainly appreciate that. We're here for a Wednesday edition, and conveniently, it is Wednesday, May 27, in the year of our Lord, 2026. You can find us on a variety of platforms. We like to pop those off quickly, early, making sure that you understand that just because you're not near your radio, you can take us wherever you'd like to go. You have the radio station, of course, at 99.7 FM. If you got a little transistor radio, you can pop that on 99.7 and go wherever you'd like to go, and you'll find, one of those old-school transistor radios. You don't remember this, Jackson, but there used to be little portable transistors where you would hold them in your hand. You got the little antenna going up, and you're bebopping down the sidewalk or wherever you'd like to go. Those still exist, believe it or not. They also exist in the form of apps. You can find us and download us on any of your app stores, and take us wherever you'd like to go. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. That's what you type in to your little search bar, and you find us there, and off you go. Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, we're there as well. And then, of course, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. It is episode 1045 of our gatherings on Supertalk 99.7 WTN, and I've enjoyed almost every single one of them. While we're engaged in the pleasantries, let me help you out with those telephone numbers or that text line if you want to engage in a conversation at any point during the next 4 hours or so. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. That's the way to do it, either through voice or text. I always love the telephone calls. It's my favorite thing that we do on a day-to-day basis. I love the engagement, whether we agree or disagree. It's always fun. Remember, disagreement goes to the front of the line, and I promise not to be mean to you. But my definition of mean is very, very low. Who is that? Ken Weaver is back? Jackson, what? Give it to him. Just give it to him.
Brother Murphy.
Ken Weaver has decided to return to the radio show today.
How about you boys?
Goodness, Ken. We have missed you. Did you know in your absence, they have been charging large amounts of money to like and subscribe on Talk TV?
What?
Yes. And I told them Ken says a different thing. They said, we don't care what Ken says. He's not here. But Ken, while you're here, how much does it cost to like and subscribe?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yeah.
See, that's not what they said while you were gone. They were charging large amounts of money.
That's not right.
That ain't right. Speaking of not right, hey, Jackson.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
It's
Wednesday or Thursday.
It's your Tuesday, our Wednesday, our Thursday.
We did this yesterday, Ken. Well, we weren't here on Monday.
That's right.
So today is Wednesday, our Tuesday, but really our Thursday because we're not here tomorrow.
Yeah, you boys.
We are here tomorrow.
Well, no, we're not here Friday. So tomorrow's our Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
You boys going to the track.
We're going out to the track on Friday. We are taking a hooky day. We're calling it a hooky day. We're playing hooky. We're playing hooky. I admit it, but it's for good reason because we got a lot of muckety mucks we got to see out there. There's muckety mucks out of that track this weekend.
Oh
Ken.
well, it's NASCAR race, man.
You got to see those muckety mucks.
Yes.
Ross Chastain's going to be out there on Friday. We're going to see Rod. Ross was in studio with us. Now he's going to be out.
Just in here.
Yeah, that's right. He won last week's truck race at Charlotte and did the nice bow in honor of Kyle Busch and then busted the watermelon, which is his tradition.
All right.
Yeah, it's good. How was your weekend? How was your couple of days off?
It was good. It was good, and I didn't get to see the Coca-Cola 600, but I heard it.
Man, that video, that's pretty cool.
I love it, man. I love sitting out back of my in-laws' house and just listening to it. Just kind of it grows and it peaks and then it kind of comes down and then it sucks whenever there's a break in the action because it stops for a while.
Gotta hate that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you had a good time.
Had a good time.
You go fishing?
Didn't go fishing. Got some stuff knocked out for my daughter's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to hold out there. Did some visiting. And
that's nice.
Yeah, just had a good old time.
That's nice. Well, we missed you. Jay does a great job, but he's not Ken Weaver.
That's Brother Jay Harper.
Jay Harper is a fabulous man.
Yes, sir.
And his name is not, he said it often in your absence. I'm not Ken Weaver. Mostly it was when I was asking him for money. I'm not Ken Weaver. Okay. So we've got lots to get into today. Friday we'll be here soon enough, and that'll be a lot of fun and all of that. But we've got lots to get into today. Before we get there, we'd love to hear from you. I mentioned on the telephones as we will discuss what happened last evening in Texas, amongst other things. Everybody's got a different take on it, right? I want to address yesterday's show just for a moment. And, you know, obviously it's an ongoing discussion that we have regarding Iran and progress or lack thereof in Iran or Iran. I go back and forth. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes it's Iran. Mostly it's Iran. Then it's Iran. Mostly it's Iran, though. There was a cabinet meeting today at the White House. You might have heard. I know that we carried some of that for you live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I happened to catch a little bit of the Chris Hand show as he was jipping that. That's JIP, join in progress, jipping that. And I appreciated everything the president had to say. And obviously the president is going to present the status of the negotiations in such a way that best benefits the negotiations. And that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense that he would paint a rosier picture of what is happening in the Middle East with regard to getting this wrapped up as quickly as possible. We've seen some positive results in terms of oil prices, some positive results in terms of gasoline prices over the last several days, maybe up to a week. It does not change my position on it from yesterday. And I do not want, y'all remember that I was going to look this up. I don't have get me my link over here for the audio video. I was going to find one of these. Y'all remember the old cartoons where it would be like Wile E. Coyote or Sylvester the Cat or one of those Looney Tunes characters.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. By the way, if you've not seen, I don't know what comedian it is, Ken, but there's a comedian that does, he talks about trying to watch Looney Tunes with his kids.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, I remembered Looney Tunes, and I sat down with my kids, and I watched Looney Tunes, and I'm like, well, what's that, Daddy? Oh, well, that's a cat, and he tries to eat this bird, like, constantly. Who is that? Well, that's a coyote. What's he do? Well, he tries to eat a bird, too. Why is he trying to eat the bird? Well, that's the way that goes. Oh, what is that? Is that a cat, too? No, that's not a cat. That's a skunk. What's that skunk do? Well, he holds animals against their will and tries to... My goodness. Oh, here's what... Bugs Bunny, that's a wholesome character. What does Bugs Bunny do? Well, he dresses up like women. It's very funny. Very funny. But there's one... The cartoon that I'm thinking of, it was a takeoff of the Big Bad Wolf, and the wolf is dressed up in a zoot suit. And he's going out on the town. He's hitting the town. And at some point, there's a little angel and a devil. And y'all have seen this before. It's nothing new. Where you get a little angel on one shoulder, a little devil on the other shoulder. And the angel's telling you to be good and do right. And the devil's telling you to do, what the devil wants you to do. And sometimes, I was relating this the other day to the Republican women of Murray County. They were nice enough to invite me out to speak. We were discussing the 250th birthday of the United States of America and what the next 50 years or 100 years or 250 years might look like for the United States of America. And I expressed to the fine ladies of Murray County, Republican ladies of Murray County, and I will say to you that I fight the devil that is on my shoulder for the better angels that are on the other shoulder in terms of my pessimism versus optimism. I'm naturally a pessimistic person, and I fight against that. I fight against thinking that the worst is going to happen in hopes that the best will occur. Now, when I say hope, I use that phrase intentionally. I use that word intentionally because when it comes to something like the Iranian situation, most of us are left to hope, underline it, that smarter people than us, that individuals with more information than us can make the best decisions that they have in front of them to end this successfully, victoriously. First and foremost, I want you to know that I want victory. And if you're listening to anyone that expresses any level of concern, whether it's somebody on this radio station, whether it's me, whether it's a commentator that you see on Fox News or hell, one of the leftist networks, MS Now, I think that's what they're calling themselves now, formerly MSNBC. Then there's the alphabet soups, ABC, CBS, NBC, and of course, the ever-beloved hashtag Never CNN. Remember, I call it hashtag Never CNN because they are a garbage network full of garbage people spewing, well, garbage. You should never watch CNN. Hashtag Never CNN. I will watch CNN so you do not have to. I consider it to be an occupational hazard, and I'm paid handsomely for it. That said, whomever you might be listening to or watching, if they are commenting on Iran, ask yourself, does this commentator want us to win? Now, I believe that there are many journalists on the national scene that would blanch at the very question. What do you mean, do I want? I am merely reporting the news, Matt. I am merely telling you what the facts of the case are. No, I'm asking you, do you want us to win? I want you to understand that no matter my pessimism over what is going to happen over the next week or 2 weeks or month or 2 months, I want us to win. I want America to come out on top. Anytime America is engaged in something like this, I want my nation to come out victorious. Don't you? Don't you? Why wouldn't you? Sadly, I feel like many of these commentators, I was watching hashtag Never CNN last night. Once again, occupational hazard. I do it so you don't have to. And I came away with the thought that they want us to lose, man. They want us to lose because they feel like that would be a loss for Donald Trump. And they so desperately want Donald Trump to ding up the losses prior to the November election cycle. And so no matter the angel or the devil that might be on my shoulder at any given moment in terms of optimism or pessimism, ultimately, I want us to be victorious in this entanglement. That said, sometimes the devil, that is the pessimism that I live with, overwhelms me, and I don't see a path forward. I found myself to be encouraged earlier today listening to the president and listening to some of the possibilities regarding the negotiations. I do not trust that any of these negotiations will come to anything. I do not trust the individuals that we're negotiating with. I think they are liars from the pit of hell, and they'll tell us anything that they think we want to hear to get the oil flowing again and get the money flowing again. Because at some point, if we are patient enough, it will begin to impact their ability to lead their country, theocratical dictators though they may be. Donald Trump, for his part earlier today, and I got the clip somewhere, says, I don't care about the midterm elections. And the media, oh my Lord, he doesn't care about the midterm. Shouldn't you want a president that doesn't care about the midterm elections? Shouldn't you want a president that says, I'm going to do the right thing regardless of what that might do in terms of temporary politics or temporary popularity? But of course, if Donald Trump came out and announced that oxygen good, cancer bad, the media would immediately put plastic bags over their head and start smoking, because they're going to do anything that's 180 degrees out of phase of Donald Trump. I just want to mention this because I don't want, a couple of emails came in and some correspondence. Do not mistake my concern about the outcome of this conflict with a lack of confidence and belief that this administration can surprise me. They've surprised me before. I'm just concerned that this is a different, this is an animal of a different stripe. And that's what I have to say about that. Donald Trump was very forceful in his language today, believing that he could get it done. We will discuss that. There were big goings on in Texas last night as Ken Paxton took care of business against John Cornyn. I was on a radio show in Chattanooga earlier today. I do a weekly hit with my good friend Dale Jackson down at WGOW. And he asked me the question that many are asking, is that couldn't John Cornyn would have done so much better than Ken Paxton? Well, you know what? John Cornyn has to win a primary first. And I'm not concerned with how well John Cornyn would have fared against, what is his name, James Tallarico. Well, he's not going to be senator from Texas anymore, or again, or ever. This Tallarico guy, I did a bit of a deep dive, and I see zero chance. I hear all of these national commentators, too, telling me that, he's got a shot. Ken Paxton, he's so soiled. Watch these jerks, these hypocrites in the mainstream media just destroy Ken Paxton and his quote-unquote pass, and they won't say a damn thing about that dude up in Maine who's got a Nazi tattoo on his chest. I don't mind you putting your thumb on the scale. I do mind you being a hypocrite. And there are a bunch of hypocrites. Don't tell me you care about character when you're doing everything in your power to defend this guy in this Maine fellow, whatever his name is. I know his name. I don't need to know his name. We shall discuss the aftermath of Tallarico and Paxton, and I'll give you a couple of clips to chew on. It's pretty funny. Tallarico was vegan in his campaign. Now he's not vegan in his campaign. The Democrats put out a big thing with him chowing down on like a turkey leg or something or another, proving that he does, in fact, eat meat. When you have to begin your general election campaign in the state of Texas, assuring the state of Texas that you actually eat meat, I think you're working from a deficit. I would just say that. 23 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'd love to hear from you. Got a busy day today. A lot of fun in store on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. My friends at Better Water have been in the water business for 55 years. 55 years of service in Middle Tennessee as a two-generation family business. They started in March of 1971. We are blessed to have them for residential and commercial customers, industrial customers as well. You would be wise to make a call to Better Water. The average tenure of service for their employees is about 17 years. That is a tremendous amount of knowledge and a tremendous amount of experience at Better Water. I experienced it when I called them to my home. Robert came out, did a water test, said, Murphy, your water looks pretty good. I would recommend a reverse osmosis under the sink application for your downstairs. That way you get that perfect branch coming out of this tap, and that's exactly what we did. 4 separate filters on that sucker, right? They can filter out and remove sulfur, iron, chlorine, whatever is impacting and affecting your water. They'll get it out of there, and you'll drink the cleanest, purest water possible. They're based out of Smyrna. They treat all of Middle Tennessee. They can offer water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, they do it. Better Water LLC. Find them at betterwater.com. That's betterwater.com. Or better yet, give them a call, 615-355-6063. 355-6063 for Better Water LLC. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Nashville Safe House. You know Mark and his team at the Safe House. You know, Jill is really the one that makes the program go right over at the Nashville Safe House. But I digress. If you're looking for a safe, if you're looking for something to protect your valuables and to protect your family, there's no better place than Nashville Safe House. We've been saying that for a long time on the Matt Murphy Show, and they've been doing it for a long time, 34 years and counting. They have your safe, odds are, on display and ready to go at Nashville Safe House. Almost 200 or thereabouts on display in the showroom. Then they have another 400 or so in their warehouse. Why do they have so many safes, you ask? Because they want to have the right safe for you so you can touch it, you can feel of it, you can see it, you can make sure that it's the right one for you. They are celebrating their 34th year in Nashville, and they want to celebrate with you. They have Browning, largest Browning dealer in the United States of America. That means the world, that means the universe. Fort Knox, Champion, Superior, Rhino, and the brand names go on and on. They've got the right safe for you. They've got biometrics. They've got vaults. They've got tornado shelters at Nashville Safe House. Go see them. Ask them about their discreet professional delivery and ask them about how gun safes remain sales tax free at Nashville Safe House. NashvilleSafeHouse.com online or on the road, 4th Avenue South in Nashville.
NES speeding up tree trimming efforts. We'll tell you about that and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I find all of this hilarious on the Nashville Electric Service front. We will discuss on the show today at some point or another. I also promised you a walkthrough on the young man, 18-year-old Henry Nowak, who was killed tragically over in the UK. We will talk about that a little bit later on today as well. And we will, of course, dissect the Paxton victory from last evening. In the state of Texas, Paxton says Trump is the GOP's most powerful force after winning Texas in a runoff against John Cornyn. Trump obviously backed Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General. A lot of Democrats are trying to tell me that a lot of his baggage is going to hold him down. And Paxton will face the Democrat nominee, of course, Representative James Tallarico in November. A Democrat has not won a statewide race in Texas since 1994, and this is not going to be the first time. The same voices that told us that Beto O'Rourke had an opportunity against Ted Cruz are the same people that are telling us that this fella has an opportunity against Ken Paxton. I do not believe it. I understand that, Ken Paxton had some issues in his past. We can walk through those if you would desire. But a cursory examination of James Tallarico's position on any number of issues indicates to me that he is more suited to run for Senate in California or Washington State or any number of other blue states than he is in Texas. Texas might not be the deep shade of red that it once was, but it is not nearly purple enough for James Tallarico. We will discuss coming up in moments. Your calls as well, 615-737-9986. It's 3:30 on Super Talk.
.3:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Heads up, drivers in Wilson County, you got that sinkhole still causing lane closures there in Mount Juliet. It developed around 10:45 this morning on North Mount Juliet Road. It is near Northwest Rutland Road, currently blocked off. Right now in Nashville, NES speeding up tree trimming efforts in spite of many customers' complaints about how they were ripping trees apart. Here's Channel 4's Brendan Tierney.
NES leaders say they can't slow down tree trimming right now without risking large outages in the next major storm. At this morning's board meeting, the power company announced they're going to start trimming trees across the city every 3 years instead of the current 4-year cycle. They're also starting to incorporate AI and other data into their systems to help find dangerous trees outside of the normal trimming schedule. But they are scaling back what they cut instead of trimming everything from the ground up to the sky near every power pole.
We're going to do a more horseshoe trim that will keep a 15-foot radial clearance below the lines. So the intent is that we will leave as much vegetation out on the system as possible that does not have a negative impact on our reliability.
Just last week, Metro Council members called for NES to pause its tree trimming program, but CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin and other leaders say that would put them even further behind schedule.
The former personal assistant to Friends star Matthew Perry's the fifth and final defendant involved in Perry's 2023 death to learn his prison sentence.
Outside of court, an attorney for Kenneth Iwamasa said Iwamasa regrets not telling Matthew Perry no when Perry told him to repeatedly inject him with ketamine, including the fatal dose the day Perry died in 2023.
Kenny will regret the lack of action for the rest of his life.
While prosecutors say Iwamasa was an enabler and a drug supplier, his attorney said Iwamasa could not say no to his boss. The federal judge giving Iwamasa 3 years and 5 months in federal prison for his role in Perry's death. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes 40 westbound before Fessler's Lane. South Loop going eastbound there at 4th Avenue. In Madison, Mayat Drive near Gallatin Pike North. Mount Juliet, you still have that sinkhole, right lane blocked. Mount Juliet Road northbound at Northwest Rutland Road. Madison, a crash. Gallatin Pike South at East Old Hickory Boulevard. Creve Hill, a stalled vehicle left shoulder block 65 southbound near the Hogan Road overpass. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friends, I talk to you often about King and Associates Insurance when it comes to homeowners insurance as well as your automobile insurance, and I strongly encourage you to talk to them about how they can help and what they can do for you. But there's another aspect of insurance that I want to discuss with you, and that's your life insurance. If you have kids, if you have family, this message is for you. Life insurance isn't about you. It's about the family members that you leave behind. We need to make sure that things are taken care of a financial nature, because obviously, if you're no longer with us, the family members are going to be suffering enough without having to worry about that sort of pressure. No pressure, no confusion, just clear options that fit you and your family and your lifestyle at King and Associates Insurance. They don't work for any insurance company. They work for you. 615-329-8121 is the number. 615-329-8121, or visit online, kinginsurance.com. That's kinginsurance.com. Grace Point Healthcare is clearly a superior choice to any other location for healthcare options that are out there. And I'm not ashamed to say that. They're superior because they are a direct pay primary care provider. It separates them in as much as you know that the decision making between you and your doctor is never going to be interfered with the insurance companies. Sadly, that's the way that it goes. At Grace Point, there's no long wait times in the waiting rooms. Grace Point is your primary provider that treats the entire family from newborns to seniors. Friends, this is a better way of doing business because you can always file with your insurance company for reimbursement after the fact, and you know that they're not getting in the way of decision-making between you and your doctor, which is the way that it should be. Plus, when you engage in the Smart Care plan, you pay a flat fee and you have unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year, plus free basic labs and diagnostics for you and your family. And you can utilize your HSA to pay that fee as well. Give them a call today. Find out more. Schedule an appointment. 599-6868. 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being around. It's a nice day. I mean, it's a bit humid out there. And what is the Weaver back there?
Yes, sir.
What's the real feels, Ken?
No, I'm not asking about no real feel. Don't. I want to know what the Friday forecast is like, is what I want to know.
Friday forecast, boys.
Yeah.
30% to 60% chance of showers. It's a pretty good chance for showers, boys. I'm sorry.
You got a night race.
Now, at night, it goes down to 40%.
That's better.
That's better.
Better than 60.
But there's lightning.
I'd like for it to be 15, maybe 10, maybe none.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Well, you know.
Fingers crossed that it'll change.
I suppose we need the rain, fellas. That's what they tell me.
Haven't we had enough yet?
We've had, I think I saw this morning that down in Mount Pleasant Way, we've had about 6 inches in the last 7 days.
We've needed it.
We have needed it.
We have needed it. That is for sure.
That is fair. But I don't know that my incredible lawn guy, which, by the way, is called Lawn Guys, I don't know that my lawn guys, Justin and the team, can handle the backyard with it as wet as it is. My goodness. I don't know. Maybe he can. He's going to cut today or tomorrow.
Well, it'd be nice if Mother Nature would give us a break for the Cracker Barrel 400.
That would be fun, wouldn't it be? I'd like that. What is the race we're going to Friday? What's that? It's got to be. It's the truck race. It's Craftsman Series truck race, but it's got a sponsor. I feel like we ought to throw that out there.
Let's look at that. Let's look at that.
Jackson's on top of this as he is doing that. Hey, Jackson, you're going to get to meet Frankie Muniz.
Alliance 200.
The Alliance 200. Thank you very much. Am I saying his name correctly, Jackson?
Muniz.
Yes,
Frankie Muniz.
Muniz? What?
Muniz.
Muniz. Mew, like a kitty cat. Nez. Muniz. Okay. Malcolm in the middle. Got it. All right. I just had this exchange with a fellow by the name of Patrick that goes by Pastor Patrick, and I was trying to mess with him on the super text line, and obviously sarcasm doesn't come through sometimes because Pastor Patrick, that's his name. If you tell us your name in the super text line, we will put it in there, and so we don't have to call you by the last 4 digits of your telephone number, which is something that we often do. But old Patrick says, don't tell me you care about character and you support Trump, LOL. And this was in discussion of the quote-unquote character flaws of Ken Paxton versus the character flaws of, what's his name? Graham Plattner, I guess it is. Or Plattner. Graham Plattner up in Maine. The media will, for me, it's not a matter of flaw yes, flaw no. It's a matter of it's a matter of hypocrisy. It's a matter of just having a standard, right? It's up to the voters of Maine to figure out if they're going to support somebody like Graham Plattner, and it's up to the voters of Texas to decide whether or not it matters for them that Ken Paxton has some issues in his past. The way the media treats it is just absurd. Anyway, Pastor Patrick writes, "Don't tell me you care about character and you support Trump, LOL." And I wrote back, and I thought I was being funny. Because, I saw his name. I said, I look to my pastor for character. And then he went off and said, I've never gotten that argument. Character is not only reserved for faith leaders, LOL. I want character out of anyone in leadership. Since when do we not want the people leading our country to have character? Wouldn't that be like priority one? If it's not, then character doesn't mean much to you at all, including for your pastor. I would want character for anyone I do business with, character for anyone I trust to date my daughter one day, character for anyone leading a football team, character is foundational to anybody that I would trust to do about anything. If you don't believe that you're a person of character and integrity, I wouldn't trust your dog catcher, let alone president. But I guess that's the difference between me and you. To me, character matters, full stop. It's not something you can ignore when the person I support obviously doesn't have it. You just relegate it to your pastor. It makes no sense as to why it's not really that important to you at all. And I wrote back, I was like, I was just messing with you because your name is Pastor Patrick. I was just messing around. I'm an ordained minister and pastor. LOL. And then he said, I've heard that comment so many times, you can tell it's a bee in my bonnet. Well, it really depends on, Pastor Patrick, how you define character, doesn't it? Or what's the cutoff for you? I mean, I guess I would ask, were I talking with Pastor Patrick directly, and I suppose it's a one-way conversation, but I am because Pastor Patrick is listening. Who is the president that you would point to that you would say is an individual of high character, high moral standards? Joe Biden? Barack Obama? George W. Bush? Bill Clinton? I mean, I can point to something in every one of their pasts that would suggest that they have character issues or certain character flaws. By the very nature of politics, you are going to find individuals that reach that level of political achievement to be individuals that are narcissists, some worse than others. I would say of all of the individuals that I just named, probably the one that is of the, George W. Bush, maybe? Bush got led down the neocon road when it came to our engagement in Iraq, and some would ding him for that. But I don't think that makes him a person of low character. Did we just get a new segment to the show, Pissed Off Pastor? I don't know. Pastor Patrick is welcome to call in and comment on any of this if he so desires. You got a head of steam on you regarding the character question. People go to the polls and they tell you that character matters. For me, I don't pretend to know these individuals personally because I don't. Some of them I've had the opportunity over the years to meet personally, and, it is the nature of a political figure that you are going to like them when you meet them. That is a part of being a successful politician, that you are a likable individual. Tell me the last politician that was Donald Trump is polarizing, there's no question. But for his supporters, he is entirely likable. And we are told personally, if you were to meet him, and I've not met him one-on-one, I've never shaken the man's hand, I've had 2 conversations with him, both over the phone, but Donald Trump is an incredibly personable individual if you meet him one-on-one or in a group setting, not on television and whatnot. I don't know. This question of character is just, it's amusing to me. For me, it's more about the hypocrisy of the political left whereas they tell you character matters when it benefits their political party of choice, but character doesn't really matter that much when it doesn't. Last-minute endorsement by President Trump boosted Ken Paxton's fortune. I don't know that Paxton wouldn't have won anyway. At his victory party last night, Paxton thanked Trump for his support, saying, when everyone in Washington told him to abandon me and abandon the people of Texas, he did not listen. Trump congratulated Paxton on his win, posting on social media that Cornyn ran a strong and powerful race, added that Cornyn had a great career. John will remain my friend for a long time to come, as we both watch Ken become a fantastic common-sense senator who is respected by all. And now he takes on Tallarico. Tallarico, for his part, is attempting to run as fast as humanly possible away from his own words. Tallarico, well, he sat down with CBS News and had a few things to say to CBS regarding some of his past commentary about, for example, God. I don't know if you know this or not, but James Tallarico said that God was non-binary. I don't really understand what that means. Little audio video here. Here's James Tallarico from his interview with CBS News.
So they're running a handful of highlights of things you've said in the past, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond or clarify. In 2021, in a speech during debate over transgender issues, you said God is non-binary. What did you mean by that?
Well, I think I was being intentionally provocative with that statement. But what it means is that God can't be defined by human categories. The Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Galatians, says that in Christ there is neither male nor female. I'm always going to stand up for Texans who are being picked on by the most powerful, most corrupt politicians in the country, and I'm going to continue doing that in this race and hopefully in the U.S. Senate. You
call it intentionally provocative. Do you regret describing it that way or talking about God that way?
There are some statements that I've made that I certainly regret. There are statements that I've made where I've missed the mark. I'll be the first to admit that. But Ken Paxton is intentionally clipping my cringy comments to distract from his career of corruption. Ken Paxton has a criminal record. I have a legislative record. I've served for 4 terms in the Texas House of Representatives, where I brought Democrats and independents together to actually make progress for people. I've brought Republican legislators and Democratic legislators together to cut property taxes, to raise teacher pay, to lower the cost of housing and childcare and prescription drugs. I've passed more than 60 bipartisan bills as a legislator.
I'd like to see the number of those bills that James Tallarico was the sole or primary sponsor on, or those that he glommed onto as a result of his recognition that these were popular initiatives that would pass to begin with. James Tallarico, what he will not say, and I would love it if the CBS News guy would follow up and say, well, you say that some of the comments that you've made that have been cringy in the past are comments that you are regretful of. Would calling God...
We are only buying...
Pardon me. Would be calling God non-binary be one of them? Would that specific comment be one that you are regretful of? Is that one that you would describe as cringy? Speaking of cringy, there was an official statement, Tallarico for Texas, regarding veganism on the campaign trail.
We have, I think, heard more and more issues of animal welfare. I think not just because it's the right thing to do and the moral thing to do, but also it's, as all of you know, necessary to fight climate change. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption and that we try to respect animals in all aspects of society. And so
we try to respect animals in all aspects of society. So he wants to reduce meat consumption and respect animals in all aspects of society, meaning that he wants to eliminate eating meat? Isn't that what I'm to understand with that statement?
I'm proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign. So we we are only buying vegan products from our local vegan businesses. Some of you may know Big Nona's. They were little Nona's.
So he's campaigning in the state of Texas. The last I checked, Texas has a lot of cattle around the state. The cattle industry seems to be a fairly important industry in the state of Texas. Tallarico on the primary campaign trail says, we're going to be a vegan campaign. Now he is pimping out a photograph of himself, which is cringy in and of itself, with him in a Texas flag shirt chowing down on some form of meat product. Apparently, Tallarico wants everybody to know that he's personally not a vegan. He just won't allow anyone who likes meat to eat meat on his campaign, per his commentary. By the way, I have no idea why. I don't know when that video was taken. I have no idea why he's wearing a mask. None. No clue why you would feel the necessity to wear a mask during that period of time. I don't know when that video was taken. 52 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Despite customer complaints, NES says it can't slow down tree trimming efforts. We'll let you hear all that coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We can't stop, baby! We got the chainsaws going. They're all oiled up, lubed up, ready to go. We can't quit it now. We can't quit you. NES. So awesome. So, yeah, this story, and I don't feel like I'm getting in front of Ken anymore because he's been delivering this story all afternoon. National Electric Service says that it's made several changes to its new aggressive tree trimming policy in the wake of Winter Storm Fern. Its board does not appear poised to comply with a recent call from the Metro. So the Metro Council, these knuckleheads. I mean, it wasn't that. Did they not remember what happened? They don't care, apparently. Council members passed a resolution during their May 19th meeting, which was just over a week ago, urging a temporary moratorium on the new trimming policy until after the NES has completed a study to determine its necessity and increased efficacy, along with the risk. What risk? Look I'm on the record as saying, if y'all want a beautiful, wonderful canopy, then demand of it for your Metro Council. Apparently, nobody has the ability to fire anybody at NES. Nobody has the ability to tell NES what to do. No elected official will take responsibility for the actions of NES back during the winter storm. And apparently, nobody has the ability to tell them what to do now either, because NES is telling the Metro Council to go pound sand. They'll do what the hell they want. And oh, by the way, what they want to do, what Teresa Broyles-Applin wants to do, a woman who should currently be unemployed, she wants to save her job. And in doing so, she's like, hold my beer and watch this. I'm going to cut every damn tree out of Nashville, Tennessee that I can find. I'll show you what tree trimming's all about.
Hide your trees, hide your shrubs, and hide your bushes, because they cutting everything out here.
They cutting everything down here. That's true.
I'm going to cut them all down.
I'm cutting them all down. We'll show you, Nashville. Criticize me. Canopy control. Coming up next on Super Talk.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, despite customer complaints about tree trimming, NES says it can't slow down tree trimming efforts without risking another major power outage from severe storms. And an NES official told today's Power Board meeting that they're going to change how they trim trees. Instead of from the ground up all the way to the sky around every power pole.
We're going to do a more horseshoe trim that will keep a 15-foot radial clearance below the lines. So the intent is that we will leave as much vegetation out on the system as possible that does not have a negative impact on our reliability.
And NES told today's board meeting they are going to start trimming trees every 3 years instead of the current 4-year cycle. A Mount Juliet teacher and football coach claims he was fired because he reported a threat that a student made against football coaches and players after the kid was cut from the team. Charles Ware telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis the principal reprimanded him and the students who reported it. Then he received notice he was being fired.
Was I terminated because I was a poor teacher? Was I terminated because I was disruptive in the classroom, or I did improper and immoral things? The director of schools refused to tell me why I was terminated. He said they don't have to tell me.
Ware says that he fears Mount Juliet Middle School could become the next Antioch High School. No comment from Wilson County Schools. President Trump's 12th cabinet meeting of his second term is in the books. He opened it today with an update on Iran.
They're negotiating on fumes, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't.
President Trump touched on gasoline prices and how high they are here in the U.S.
The primary urgency is that we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. But at the same time, we have a tremendous amount of oil gas, coal. We have tremendous amounts of energy. We're blessed with something very special.
And the Trump administration has sent out $20.6 billion in tariff refunds so far, according to a new court filing. Here's ABC's Chuck Severson.
The filing sheds light on how tens of thousands of American businesses are starting to get money back after the Supreme Court ruled many of President Trump's tariffs were illegal. The new filing notes $85 billion in refunds have been accepted so far. UPS, FedEx, and DHL said they will directly refund customers. Walmart suggested last week it will cut prices for shoppers using the estimated $2.4 billion in refunds it's owed.
Payments to college athletes would be regulated in a bipartisan bill trying to, quote, fix college sports. The bill designed to break a congressional logjam would regulate payments to players, limit them to one free transfer over their careers, and create a, quote, Lane Kiffin rule to restrict coach movement during the season. Senators Ted Cruz, Texas Republican, and Maria Cantwell, Washington Democrat, briefed the Associated Press on the details. The measure needs 60 votes to clear the Senate. All this follows a lawsuit settlement that allowed players to be paid. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Franklin, a crash, 65 southbound past I-840. Jolton, a crash, 24 westbound near Whites Creek Pike. We've got an injury crash in Hermitage, Central Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard. Also Madison, Gallatin Pike south at East Old Hickory Boulevard. Then the downtown split. We've got a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. That's going to be 40 westbound right there at 24, exit 211. And in Hermitage, a disabled vehicle blocking the center lane, Briley Parkway northbound at Two Rivers Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy Show continues 7 minutes after 4. Would love to hear from you. 615-737-9986. Phone line's always available for you. Supertalk 99.7 WTN's text line is up and running as well. 615-737-9986. You can also hit me up on a variety of social media platforms. I'm primarily on the X machine. If you think I'm a jerk on the radio show, just find me on the X machine. You'll see a real jerk over there. You can find me at Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show. I'm also Matt Murphy Show on the Facebook. You can also hit me up at Matt Murphy, although I think I'm capped at 5,000, friends, followers, whatever they call it over there. And then a little bit on Instagram, not so much on the rest of the platforms. But if you find me on social media, I'd love to talk with you, chat you up, and say hello to you, as we oftentimes do when we're not on the radio. I also have this going on. So Jill Biden has a book coming out, and she is making the rounds to promote the book. A little audio video, please. Jill Biden spoke to CBS News. I assume this is an interview that will drop Sunday morning. It is Jill Biden describing Joe Biden's performance in the now infamous June debate against Donald J. Trump. Listen in.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified, I was frightened, because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since. Never.
Or since?
Yes, or
You've
since.
never seen him like
never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
So Jill Biden is saying that as she watched Joe Biden, you know what? Jill knows him better than any of us, I suppose, and I guess that's reasonable because I think we all thought I thought he was having a stroke. Pardon me, Jill. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Although her response to Joe Biden's performance has changed dramatically since, I don't know, the same night.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question you knew.
Here, let me.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
Yeah, lie. Yay. Everybody knew after that debate performance. And oh, by the way, Joe Biden is standing there. Somebody didn't give Joe Biden. You will never convince me that Joe Biden wasn't sabotaged during that debate. Someone did not give him his drug cocktail that he clearly had during the State of the Union. Y'all remember him at the State of the Union earlier that year? He was on something. He was all mad and enraged. He was all hopped up. It was like Joe Biden on blow. This Joe Biden was discombobulated, and I mean, y'all remember it. We don't have to remember it. Now, I love how Democrats change their tune and change the record and act like we don't have an actual, pieces of evidence as to how they reacted to it initially.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the.
You answered every question. You knew all the answers. It's like Jill's, welcoming her 9-year-old home after a hard test in mathematics or science. You had your earth science exam today, and you answered every question. You knew all the answers, Joe. Now, it's a completely different story. Now, Jill's saying, oh, yeah, I thought Joe was having a stroke. Oh, by the way, if you're I don't mean to play along with this because I think it's a load of garbage. I think she knows exactly what her husband is and what he was. I think she understood that Joe was losing it. I think she covered up for him. I don't think Jill Biden's a very good person as a result of my belief that she chose to cover up for Joe Biden's clear mental infirmity when she could have said no and should have said no and eventually had to say no. She was forced to say no. Instead, knowing what he was, knowing that he had slipped off his cracker, knowing what he had become, They put him out there anyway, and I suppose she depended on that cocktail of drugs. If my conspiracy theory is correct, they were propping him up on steroids in a way that was unsustainable for a person of his age, and either unintentionally or intentionally, and I believe it was intentionally, they omitted giving him his cocktail for the debate, and we saw the real Joe Biden on that stage that night. Not the controlled 5 minutes at a time Joe Biden that we had seen previous to that evening, which is why they didn't want him to debate to begin with. I believe they moved up the debate to June for that purpose, to showcase what Joe really was, to get him out of the race. The plan, in my estimation, was to see an actual vote at an actual convention as to who would be the nominee. But Kamala Harris's people got in the way and demanded that she be the nominee, and then we know what happened after that. But now Jill has conveniently decided to change her story and tell us that she was very, very concerned about Joe and his health, very concerned that Joe Biden was suffering a stroke. Let me ask you a question. If you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, or I guess any relationship's committed, but in a marital type relationship, and you thought your loved one was having a medical emergency, what would you do? Would you just sit there and let it happen? Or would you do something more about it? Now, it's easy to say, Murphy, what was she supposed to do? Pull him off stage? If she legitimately thought he was having a stroke, yes. A loving wife would pull him off stage. A loving wife would say, we need to go to commercial. We need to do something about this. We need to get him off the stage because he's having a medical issue. I don't think she anymore thought he was having a stroke than she thought he was cognitively able to get through 90 minutes of debate. She understood what Joe Biden was, and she was shocked and horrified that the drugs didn't kick in to try to shield that reality from the rest of the American people. But she's trying to sell a book now, so what would you expect? In the big political race from last night, Ken Paxton, of course, wins against a John Cornyn. He will take on James Tallarico. James Tallarico, who missed over 800 votes in his state legislative career. He was asked about this, but by none other than The View. Listen up.
State legislator, because they have reviewed your legislative history and you've missed over 800 votes during your time in the state house. Why did you miss the votes, and why should voters allow you to represent their interests statewide when some are saying you did not represent your district?
And this is a Republican talking point because I broke quorum twice with my Democratic colleagues to protest this redistricting power grab, to protest their voter suppression. And so I wasn't on the floor to take these votes because I was trying to stop them from passing these voter suppression efforts. Mm-hmm. And so they try to then take a look at all the votes that I missed, when in reality I was doing my job.
No, you were not doing your job. You had left the state specifically to not do your job. You're in the minority in the state legislature. Oh, by the way, you did not miss 800 votes during your time away. Y'all remember that when the Democrats ran out of the state, and it took literally the governor and the lieutenant governor of the state, and the attorney general, for that matter, of the state of Texas, to threaten them with arrest to get them back, to get them to do their job in the state house and the state senate. Y'all remember this? I do. I'm elephantine when it comes to these types of things. Tallarico wants you to believe that he missed over 800 votes during that short period of time that he was out of the state. That is not true. The 800 votes that he missed, most of them had nothing to do with this period in time, but he doesn't want you to know that and doesn't think that we'll fact check it, but we will fact check it on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. This guy, there's more in his background and more in his record. I mean, obviously, he has had plenty to say. Well, don't believe me when I tell you that we're going to dig up plenty of old statements and old comments that he's made. Believe Tallarico himself. He's already said as much.
So they're going to throw everything they've got at us. They're going to dig up all kinds of, old statements, take them out of context, and try to paint them in the worst possible light, because this is the only playbook they have in 2026.
Okay, so James Tallarico is already saying that it is unfair. Think about this version of political campaigning in 2026. Tallarico wants Texas to know that it is unfair for us, any of us, those of us in Tennessee, nationally, talk radio in the state of Texas, other various political platforms in the state of Texas, political influencers in that state. It is unfair for you to take his political positions that he has held for years and remind the voters that these are his political positions. It is unfair for you to take his own words and remind people of what he has said regarding, I don't know, things like transgender youth and the mutilization of transgender children. It is unfair for us to remind people of his position on religion, his position on abortion, his defense. Y'all know that he's defended abortion through the Bible. He's attempted to suggest that abortion is biblically proper. And he's an ordained minister, so, yeah. Right? I, for one, do not believe that this guy has a chance in hell, regardless of whatever you think of Ken Paxton's past. I believe that Paxton will be the next senator from the state of Texas. You might not have heard of the name Henry Nowak before, but when we return, I will let you know who Henry Nowak is or was. He is sadly no longer with us because of the woke policies of the United Kingdom. And it is a real-world example of two things. Number one, what wokeness will get you in 2026 if you allow your country to descend into this madness. Number two, it will remind you of how hypocritical the mainstream media is, depending on the color of your skin, as to what stories get coverage and what stories do not. We'll do that next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. New year, new clothes, but the same old discomfort when the camera comes out. Well, we've all been there. Contours LLC in Franklin, they can help you trade that photo fear for genuine confidence. Contours red light treatment helps tighten skin, melt stubborn fat fast and without surgery and without complications and with zero pain. I know because I've done it. It can help you restore your confidence. I know because it's done it for me. It's totally safe, totally natural, and will not hurt you with no pain, no downtime, and it's instantaneous. Instantaneous, you say? Yeah, I said so. Instantaneous. So much so that for $99, if you come out and try the Belly Buster special, you can do both a Belly Buster and a facial for $149. How about that? If you are ready to commit to your best self, you can get the Mandis special, 6 full treatments for the price of 4. Summer's just a short time away. You've got time, but the clock is ticking now. You could do the Mandis special, or you can ask them about the Murph. And I would say, Matt was telling me about the Mandis special, but let's find out about the Murph first. ContoursLLC.com. That's ContoursLLC.com. The clock is ticking for summertime. Book your appointment today. 615-236-9960. 236-9960. Look as good as you feel. After all, what do you have to lose? But inches. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about Cover Nash, because now is the time for you to make the call. If you've been thinking about it, maybe you whistle past the graveyard when it comes to health insurance, and I understand some people do that, right? Where you don't want to believe that you're paying too much. You don't want to believe that you're not getting the coverage you deserve. And then sadly, when you come to realize that you've been doing this for some period of time, it's after you need the good coverage. It's after you have a claim and it's just not working out for you because your health insurance doesn't cover it, or because your deductible is way too high for you to take care of it. I want you to call Shane Ring and Cover Nash today. Do this for me. Make the call that you've been thinking about and talk to Shane or one of his team members about stopping by in Brentwood. You can do this in person or you can do it over the phone, and giving yourself a little health insurance check to make sure that everything's on the up and up. Shane does not work for any insurance company. He works for you, as a matter of fact, and he can shop every single insurance company on the marketplace and find the best policies for you. Friends, do not believe them when they tell you that open enrollment is the only time you can make changes. It's not true. Shane can disabuse you of that notion and get to the bottom of where you are with your insurance right now, today. Let's get health insurance on your terms, not on the terms of the government. 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at covernash.com, covernash.com.
"100 days out from the deadly ice storm Fern, NES says it's tested new systems. They also discussed rate increases. We'll tell you all about it coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's the Matt Murphy Show. Hello. Jackson Williams behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. You heard the voice of Ken Weaver offering you some of the news stories he'll be covering in about 5 minutes or so on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good to have Weaver back in the fold, first time this week. It is a midweek Wednesday edition of the Matt Murphy Show. You can join in 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986, either via text or telephone call. You're always invited. Imagine this: an 18-year-old boy or young man, first year of college, is walking home after a night on the town with friends. All right? Suddenly, a man approaches him, and unprovoked, the man pulls out a large knife and stabs him with the knife. When police arrive, the attacker is still there. And the attacker claims that the victim, who is the 18-year-old boy, writhing on the ground in pain with a 3-inch stab wound in one of his lungs, drowning in his own blood, the attacker claimed that the victim in this case called him racial slurs. Are y'all with me so far? 18-year-old boy walking home, first year of college, is attacked, stabbed. Police arrived. The attacker says he called me racial slurs. And hearing the allegation of racial abuse, police officers arrest the 18-year-old. They arrest the individual that has been stabbed. The boy, the 18-year-old, is handcuffed on the ground while bleeding out. Eventually, the 18-year-old slips from consciousness and passes out, and then he dies. Y'all got the story? Sounds like I made it up. Absolutely happened. Happened exactly the way that I just described it. I wrote it down to make sure that I didn't mess up anything. It sounds like a scene out of a horror movie. It sounds like Bizarro World. It sounds like, well, I think the description that I read on National Review was, it was a dystopian depiction of a society whose idolatry of progressive anti-racism has turned it totally upside down. But that doesn't really happen, does it? It is alleged that this precise sequence of events happened on December 3rd, 2025 in Southampton, United Kingdom. Henry Nowak is the young man. Henry, N-O-W-A-K, Nowak. I hope I'm pronouncing his name Nowak or Nowak. I'm going to say Nowak. I'm going to go with Nowak. I've not heard his name pronounced, and that is part of the problem. No one is talking about this story. No one in the UK, no one in the United States of America. Maybe you've heard it on social media. Maybe you've seen it on social media. Maybe one or two talk show hosts that you peruse from time to time have spoken on this issue. I just found out about it last week. Elon Musk was tweeting about it. Other conservative commentators on social media platforms like the X Machine have been tweeting about it. Why are we not hearing more about this story? My God in heaven, if the roles were reversed, I promise you would have. The details are as follows. Henry Nowak, or Nowak, an undergraduate studying accounting and finance at a university in Southampton, was allegedly pursued and stabbed by an individual by the name of Vikram Digwa. Vikram Digwa was carrying an 8-inch long knife called a shastar, as well as a ceremonial blade known as a Sikh kirpan. Prosecutors allege the small kirpan, which Digwa had been wearing around his neck, would have satisfied any religious obligation that he would have had to carry a blade. Apparently, that's a part of their religious beliefs. Digwa was recorded by Nowak on Snapchat saying, "I am a bad man," after he had initiated a mortal wound on the teenage victim, and he's now on trial for murder. I want to tell you a little more about this story. I wonder why we haven't heard a lot about it. Because it has everything, it cuts to the heart of the lax immigration policy in the United Kingdom. And it cuts to the heart of where we are going if we do not insist that individuals that come to this country do so legally and accept and embrace American culture and the manner in which we comport ourselves in our own society. We are not obligated to bring these other customs from other countries into this one. And why in the world does anyone think we are? There is nothing wrong with a basic expectation that you are going to abide by the cultural practices of the United States of America. In this case, sadly, the United Kingdom has lost their way. I have more on this story and more on Henry Nowak coming up in a moment. It's 31 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, 100 days out from the deadly ice storm Fern, NES says it has tested new systems to help them respond to a storm. They also discussed rate increases, how much you're going to pay every month. Channel 4's Brendan Tierney reports.
At this morning's board meeting, they talked about how the phone system has tripled its capacity to handle 1,000 calls at a time, and how they've used data from more than 300 storms to create a new estimated restoration time system. CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin says they've also increased the tree trimming budget to protect power lines.
This recovery work is not about responding to a single isolated event. It's more about building a strong operating model for a much more demanding storm environment. We're not seeing storms taper off at all. They're coming at us even more strongly than in the past.
Now, NES leaders did talk today about raising rates by about 4.5% in the fall of 2027 or early 2028, which does line up with their normal rate increase schedule.
Channel 4 says NES also approved a pilot program this summer to test out putting power lines underground. They selected 4 locations, places in Old Hickory, Cane Ridge, Thompson Lane, and Charlotte Park. They also said they cannot slow down tree trimming right now without risking another major outage from a severe storm. They say they're going to a 3-year cycle from the current 4-year tree trimming cycle. And a Mount Juliet teacher and football coach claims he was fired because he reported a threat that a student made against football coaches and players after the kid was cut from the team. Charles Ware telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Bandis the principal reprimanded him and the students who reported it and then fired him.
The principal called all the reporting students into his office and basically chewed them out and said, I don't appreciate you spreading rumors around the school. And he basically scared the kids. He was trying to intimidate them.
Now, Ware says he fears Mount Juliet Middle School could become the next Antioch High School. No comment yet from Wilson County Schools. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes. Mount Juliet. Left 3 lanes blocked, 40 eastbound, right there at Mount Juliet Road, exit 226. Then in Franklin, 65 southbound past I-840. Downtown Split, you got a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. That's going to be 40 westbound, right there at 24, exit 211. In Hermitage, you've got a crash, Central Pike at Old Hickory Boulevard. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Eurofix. Eurofix has been around for a long time now, 26 years helping people with their European automobile needs. Auto repair can be a confusing thing, and sadly, unfortunately, some auto repair companies have made it a scary process because you don't know if you're getting honesty when you talk to the individual at the auto repair shop. Well, you know that when you go to Eurofix because they have been as honest as the day is long for the last 26 years under the tutelage of Aaron Stokes. Sadly, we've lost Aaron, but his legacy lives on. They repair all European automobiles at Eurofix. They offer you a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the repairs they perform. They do so at below dealer pricing. You don't have to put up with dealer pricing, and you don't have to put up with getting ghosted by the dealership either. They fix everything European, and they offer a rental car available at every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or online at myyurofix.com. Myyurofix.com. It's the one and only Eurofix. One word that comes to mind when you think about Genesis Diamonds is integrity. This is a company that's built on a rock-solid foundation with total transparency and total honesty. This is why they do not have commissioned salespeople at Genesis. They pay their employees. They don't expect you to. You're not under any pressure to be sold anything or under any pressure to buy anything. They share with you the long-held secrets of the diamond industry. They teach you the tricks to maximize the value of your purchase. They show you how to buy like a dealer buys. And then here's a wonderful thing. They'll show you around their beautiful showroom with all of the incredible selection of diamonds. And then if you want to shop around. Take your newfound knowledge with you when you do. They know you'll be back because they have the best values in the industry, the best values in Nashville, Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee. They simply are better than anyone else, and they know it. It is why they're so confident when you walk through the door that they can find the right thing for you, the loved one in your life that you're shopping for. At Genesis Diamonds, we're lucky to have them, and they are lucky to have you as repeat customers. Time and time again, you know that you're not getting a big box corporate chain store experience. You're getting intimacy. They're locally owned, international connections that guarantee no middleman pricing. You don't get that with Genesis Diamonds. They're in Green Hills and Cool Springs. Tell them that I sent you online at genesisdiamonds.com or on the road. Those two locations. Matt Murphy sends you to Genesis Diamonds. All right, so in the midst of this story about Henry Nowak that you might have never heard about, it happened across the pond in the United Kingdom, in Southampton to be precise. We were going over some of the details of this. If you have comment or want to offer any sort of addition to the story, or for whatever reason you want to give us a call, 615-737-9986. We'd love to hear from you. Nowak's murder is not just an indictment on the police that sadly did nothing. It's an indictment on the entire modern approach to cultural life in Great Britain. British institutions, as was written in the National Review, and I think it's well written, British institutions have been bewitched by the spell of cultural wokeism and leftism to such a pervasive extent that so understand what happened here, and it should boil your blood. The trial has just started, and some evidence is yet to be presented, but there has thus far been no evidence to suggest that the 18-year-old that was stabbed did anything to the stabber. Digwa's testimony, body cam footage, and emergency calls placed by the alleged attacker's family point to a likely sequence of events. Nowak was stabbed and was then accused by his attacker of being drunk and racist. And so the attacker had no bodily harm to him. The attacker had nothing wrong with him. The attacker still had the knife with him. Instead of apprehending the attacker and giving medical treatment to the individual who was lying on the ground bleeding, they handcuffed the individual that was bleeding because the individual that stabbed him told them that he called him a nasty name. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So let's get this really straight. In Great Britain, apparently, if you are white and native, you can be stabbed, lying on the street, dying, bleeding to death. And if someone says that you're racist, that is sufficient enough for the police to place you in handcuffs and under arrest while bleeding to death on the ground. Britain's ideologically captured law enforcement agencies have been indoctrinated to the point and into a worldview, as the column from the National Review points out, where accusations of racism are seen as a more severe transgression than stabbing someone. This is obviously the same country where you can be arrested for posting a comment on Facebook that someone finds offense to. And the columnist in this case, and I'll give credit to Matthew Wilson for writing about this, and I found this column after I saw something that Elon had posted, Elon Musk that is, regarding this case on his social media platform, the X Machine. And Mr. Wilson writes, while I find the conduct of the officers in the case appalling, one has to ask, why should British officers have any confidence that their superiors would have their backs if they were to rightly depart from the progressive ideology order of priorities to assist a real victim? This is a Britain entirely within the grip of revisionist, hard-left social and cultural dogma, of which the preeminent commandments are to prevent and punish racism first, second, third, and last, rectify alleged past injustices no matter the circumstances or the cost. In other words, it's perfectly acceptable if a racist bleeds out on the street if they have merely been accused of said racism. And the real perpetrators of crime have learned this. They know it. There is a cultural sickness that is moving through Great Britain, that is moving through some of our major cities in the United States of America. Are we very far behind in New York City? Or in Minnesota? For the last 50 years, the left has quietly said, not just in this country, but around the world, but particularly in the United States of America, that if you are white and male, that you are at very least, to be really, really quiet about it. At very least, you are not to suggest in any way that you're proud of your heritage, that you're proud of your culture, that you're proud of your upbringing, because to be proud of it is in some way, according to the woke left, to be proud of it is somehow to be racist yourself. Now that is not enough. We've been told that for a long damn time in the United States. That if you're proud, that you're perfectly allowed to be proud to be a woman. You're perfectly allowed to be proud to be gay. You're perfectly allowed to be proud to be black or brown. But you damn well not better be proud to be white. If you say black pride, people celebrate you. If you say brown pride, people celebrate you. If you say women proud, you're celebrated. If you are any of these protected categories or any of these socially acceptable categories, you are to be celebrated. But if you somehow say white pride, you are immediately declared a racist. Why? Is that not in and of itself racist? And what that leads to, friends, it leads to this mentality that I'm describing in Great Britain that is on its way over here. And liberals would have it this way, but for the pesky Constitution of the United States of America. It is but for that pesky Constitution, specifically the pesky Bill of Rights, more specifically the pesky First Amendment and the Second Amendment, that prevents them from achieving what they want. One of the concerns, let me tie all of this together for you. I'll get to telephone calls. One of the concerns that I've long had about Iran, this is related, y'all wait for it, is that it might cost us seats in the November elections. And if we lose in November, then Donald Trump has lost his last 2 years. And whatever, I don't pretend that his speed has necessarily been acceptable when it comes to deportations. I don't know that his speed has necessarily been acceptable when it comes to his agenda and initiating it. And certainly I am mad as hell at the United States Congress for not codifying some of this through the Congress to make sure that his executive orders can't be overturned. Because my fear is that if we see a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate. And if we see the economy turning around simultaneous to that election happening, then the Democrats will potentially get credit for it. And if the Democrats get credit for it, they could potentially win in 2028. And if they win in 2028, do you understand the transformative nature of what's going to happen over the next 4 years in the United States? I'm not here to scare the hell out of you, but I'm here to scare the hell out of you. 13 Supreme Court justices pack the court with liberals. Overturn many of the progressive Supreme Court decisions. I use that term on purpose intentionally because I do believe we are progressing toward more constitutionality in the United States, overturning some of those rulings that we've seen in the quote-unquote Trump court. Eliminating filibuster, pushing through D.C. and Puerto Rico as states, getting those senators in there, ensuring that the Republicans do not have a majority in the United States Senate in the foreseeable future, and giving themselves the ability to pass any and all legislation that they want, some of which I believe would be designed to supersede the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. By that, they want hate speech laws in this country, like they have in Great Britain, like they have in the UK. Mr. Wilson continues, and he's a guest columnist for National Review. I am presently a graduate student at Oxford. One of Oxford's main thoroughfares, Corn Market Street, is infamous for many vagrants who occupy it and harass passers-by at all hours of the day and night. Some of the vagrants are particularly aggressive. I've had profanity screamed at me on several occasions, and a friend of mine was shoved and stalked by a homeless man as he was leaving a church service. All of that to say that if I were attacked by a knife-wielding man who subsequently told police that his attack had been provoked by my hurling racial insults, I have little confidence that the police would arrest the right person. Henry Noack was attacked by a deranged man. He died in handcuffs under police detention after being called a racist. In a country that in 2020 was rocked by weeks of protests and riots over the death of a man in America who had nothing to do with Britain, there have been no demonstrations for Henry Noack. None. His story has attracted almost zero mainstream media attention. The Prime Minister has made no comment on the case, and it happened last December. This is the same Prime Minister, Starmer or whatever his name is, that you can find photos online of him kneeling in 2020 in protest of George Floyd's death. And the writer of the piece concludes by saying, British society is deeply unwell. I think all of society has become deeply unwell. Henry Noack should be getting attention. Remember, remember the girl in Charlotte that passed away, that died? Oh, well, now she was murdered. She was slaughtered on the Charlotte, I can't remember her name. It was always a difficult name, and I cannot remember it right now. I'll look it up.
She was like of Russian descent.
She was Russian, Ukrainian, something like that.
Ukraine, yes.
Mm-hmm. And she was killed, brutally slaughtered on that train. And without talk radio, no one would have known about this story. Without people like Charlie Kirk, and ironically, Charlie Kirk's death overwhelmed that story. And we talked about, rightly so, Charlie Kirk's death in the same spirit for weeks and months in the aftermath of his assassination. This young lady died, and her death was getting almost zero media coverage. Why? Because she was a white woman killed by a person of color. All murder is wrong, no doubt about it. The manner in which the media treats these stories is equally wrong. The fact that no one's heard about Henry Noack is wrong. Why are there no protests for this man who was wrongly detained, wrongly handcuffed, and bled out on a street after being attacked by a man with a knife? And oh, by the way, even if he screamed racial epithets, even if he screamed the nastiest racial slur imaginable to this person, that does not justify being slaughtered in the street. Irna Zarutka, thank you. Thank you. All of you. It's 53 after the hour. I'm beside myself. Henry Noack, remember his name. Say his name. Remind people of how he was killed. And do not be afraid to demand certain cultural expectations in your communities. It's 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Are you ready? I am so ready for the Glock Stores event. It is going to be so good. You know, we've got Lenny McGill coming on the show tomorrow afternoon to give us all of the details. I heard a little bit of his conversation with Dan Mandis this morning, and it just got me all excited about what we can expect for this Saturday. Friends, starting at 10 o'clock, doors are opening at 9. They're getting ready for you at about 9 a.m. to Saturday morning. But once they get going, this thing will be going like gangbusters. I'm talking about raffles and giveaways and incredible deals and specials on so many different things. And there'll be booths everywhere. Cabana Wife will be selling cookies out there. Brian Wilson will be there. Matt Murphy will be there. Dan Mandis will be there. Chris Hand will be there. And I want to see you. Now, don't come just to see me. Don't come just for the Cabana Wife cookies. Come for the incredible deals that they are offering at the Glock Store and the raffles. Let me tell you something. I'm told on good authority that we're now up to well in excess of $50,000 worth of giveaways. That includes multiple guns. That includes all manner of accessories and optics and different customizable features for your gun. I'm telling you, folks, this is the deal of the year. You want to be there from 10 until 2. Join your friends by getting to the Glock Store. They're on Air Lane Drive, which is just off of Elm Hill Pike. Elm Hill Pike is just off of Briley Parkway, and that's convenient from anywhere, just a couple of miles from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially this Saturday. We'll see you at the big-time 6th annual open house at the one and only Glock Store.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, 100 days out from the deadly ice storm Fern, NES CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin says they've tripled the phone system to handle at least 1,000 calls at a time. And she told the board how they've used data from more than 300 storms to create a new estimated restoration time system. She also said they've increased the tree trimming budget.
This recovery work is not about responding to a single isolated event. It's more about building a strong operating model for a much more demanding storm environment. We're not seeing storms taper off at all. They're coming at us even more strongly than in the past.
As for rate increases, Nashville Electric Service leaders today discussed raising rates by about 4.5% in the fall of 2027 or early part of 2028, which Channel 4 says lines up with NES's normal rate increase schedule. And Nashville Electric Service is launching a pilot program to move power lines underground in 4 areas. The effort comes after the deadly ice storm. Selected locations include parts of Old Hickory, Cane Ridge, Thompson Lane, and Charlotte Park. NES says the project will begin this summer as part of a broader plan to strengthen the power grid. And a Mount Juliet teacher and football coach claims he was fired because he reported a threat that a student made against football coaches and players after being cut from the team. Charles Ware telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis the threatening student was then allowed to finish the day at school.
But it's just scary that, especially after we had the school shooting in Antioch, we had the school shooting in Nashville, which is just literally right down the street from Mount Juliet Middle School, that this principal just dismissed this threat as a rumor. This kid was allowed to carry his book bag into a lunchroom where there were hundreds and hundreds of students that he could have just pulled a weapon out and started shooting kids.
No comment yet from Wilson County Schools. And the 12th cabinet meeting of President Trump's second term is in the books. President Trump opened it this morning with an update on Iran.
Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job.
Bigger hail. Chuck Sievertson says an article in the journal Nature claims climate change is making hail bigger and more dangerous.
Climate change from the burning of fossil fuels should make more high-energy, unstable air, which can help form hail, says a study in the journal Nature. Storms with hail bigger than a large marble pelting roofs, cars, and the ground will increase by the end of the century. Hail generally doesn't kill people, but it does more damage than tornadoes and costs about the same as a couple of hurricanes, says the study by Central Michigan University, costing $10 billion a year in the U.S. and $80 billion globally.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Cool Springs got a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 65 northbound at Moores Lane. Beech Grove in Coffee County got an injury wreck, 24 eastbound before exit 97. And then Bell Road here in Nashville got a crash just west of Blue Hole Road. At the downtown split, it's a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane, 40 westbound there at 24, exit 211. And at Mount Juliet, a crash 40 eastbound at Mount Juliet Road, exit 226. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jackson Williams is behind the glass. He makes sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. He gathers headlines, delivers them twice an hour, and when it breaks, my name is Matt Murphy, and I'm your humble host and correspondent for the next 2 hours until 7 o'clock, and we'll call it a Wednesday edition. Young Jackson, have you watched Working Man by Dusty Slay?
Have not.
Well, it's now on the YouTubes, and I rewatched it. We watched it when it came out. You know, Dusty's a good friend of the show, and every so often, if he happens to be in town, he might tune the show in. He'll never admit it, but he might do it. But I rewatched it. In all seriousness, I rewatched it. It's even funnier the third time around. I haven't seen it since it initially came out, and I think it was out first on Netflix. Yeah, I might get some of this wrong. But all I know is it was on YouTube last night, and it was funny. It is hilarious. The bit he does about washing his hands after he goes to the bathroom is hilarious, and I'm right there with him. The only reason that so many people wash their hands after they go to the bathroom is because they think other people are looking at them. I'm telling you. It's all about social pressure. It is not. It has nothing to do with cleanliness. It has not. It has everything to do with not wanting to be judged. And Dusty does an incredible bit about not washing his hands, and he starts talking about touching things in the store afterwards. It's pretty funny. If you've not seen it, you need to see it. It's very, very funny stuff. Working Man, that was his first special. Second one was Wet Heat, but he's a good friend of the show, and I was just looking at something, and I saw one of his things come up on social media when I was looking at my phone during the break during Ken Weaver's newscast, and it reminded me that I got a chance to see that. I was batching it last night, and I had control of the remote.
You can watch anything you wanted, Brother Murphy.
Watch anything. You know what happened today, though, Ken?
What?
I got to tell you, Ken doesn't know this. You know where my wife is, Ken?
I have no idea.
My wife is in sunny California. Uh-huh. You know where I've never been in my life, Ken?
Sunny California.
California. Now, what about that?
What's he doing out there?
She's out there on a girls' trip. They're going out to a wedding in Washington State.
Washington State.
Yeah, I say that with him like like something nasty just exploded.
But they're going through sunny California first.
They flew into San Fran. They're out at the Golden Gate. Apparently according to E, she says that she has seen fewer homeless people so far than in Nashville. That's what she said. Hey, a wise man once said, I'm just reporting the news, y'all.
I'm just reporting the news, boys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, indeed. But I suppose that means that they're in the right part of town, if that's the case. But they went and they took their picture in front of the Full House row. You know that little scene from Full House?
Oh, yeah.
Where the opening shot. They took their picture there, and then they went out to the Golden Gate, and I don't know where else they're going. I think they went to Chinatown. And then they've got a rental car, and they're going up the coast. And they're going through Oregon and Washington State, and eventually they'll be apparently they're going to see the redwood forests. You know who wants to see the redwoods?
Brother Murphy?
Matt Murphy. You know who's not getting to see the redwoods?
Brother
right now?
Murphy.
Right. And you know what she said when I complained about it? She said, well, you go to Tunica. So, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but they don't have big trees down there.
Wait, so she said, you take guys' trips to go gamble all the time. I was like, okay, first, I don't all the time. I think we're loosely using that term. Number two, that's Tunica. You're comparing a Tunica trip to a week-long West Coast vacay. But that's not the reason I bring any of this up, Ken. I batched it for exactly one night. Do you know who is now babysitting me? No. I'm being babysat.
Miss Beasley?
Mm-mm. Miss Beasley's there. Munson's there. And my in-laws are there. Wow. Now, I love my in-laws.
Right.
I do. I cherish them.
Yes.
They're good people. But my goodness. They came up to babysit me. Oh, there was some speech about how it was for the dogs, and I've got work to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got a longer commute now and everything.
Yeah. But I wasn't buying any of that. She doesn't think I can act right on my own. That's what it is. So Bob, if Bob and Susie are listening, hey, y'all, good to see you. They sometimes watch the show from down in Montgomery, AL, so I don't know why they wouldn't do it in Mount Pleasant.
Do they give Miss Beasley and Munson special treats?
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah.
Oh, they love Grandma.
Oh,
Trust me. Grandma is something else. Now, Susie does not do for Ms. Beasley and Munson what my grandmother used to do with we would tell my grandmother, don't give the dog human food, Ma.
Right.
Ma, don't do it. He'll have gas. It'll be bad.
Yes, sir.
And then I will come into the kitchen, and there's my grandma with the refrigerator door open, handing Hody, there's my dog at the time, handing Hody a piece of ham.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, it's just one little piece.
Oh, he's going to be all right.
You opened the fridge specifically to grab him a piece of ham and give it to him. Oh, it's just, well, look at him.
My dearly departed mother-in-law would cook my wiener dog Bentley Boo and Lady Clotilde. She'd cook them eggs and bacon.
Well, they're just so hungry. Look at them. Oh, it's going to be okay. They just want a little something.
Ooh, boy, eggs and bacon do terrible things to a wiener dog's intestines. Terrible things.
Horrible things. Horrible. Speaking of horrible, we've been discussing the aftermath of this case out of the UK. Henry Noack. Larry wants to discuss. Larry, thank you for your call. How are you, sir?
Hey, Matt, I'm still above the daisies. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir, of course.
That last segment, it just got my blood boiling. And, yes, it is coming to the United States if we let it. But it's not just Great Britain. I have two friends in and from Scotland. They never left Scotland. The government there monitors what they say. They monitor their text. If you have friends over for a party and a political topic comes up and you say something that someone at the party does not agree with, they can go report it to the police, and you will be arrested and taken to jail that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is... I'm trying to calm down, Matt. It is absolutely ridiculous, and the people need to understand that this is exactly what the liberals want for here. They want to control our speech. They want to control our thoughts. It's kind of like that, and I can't remember who was in it, but there was a movie about, you could be arrested for what you were thinking about what you may do. You'll probably know the movie. It was a good movie. I can't remember if it was Keanu or...
Minority Report with Tom Cruise is the one you're thinking about.
There you go. Yes, sir. There you go.
But they had a pre-crime division, right?
Exactly. Yes, sir. And that's what the liberals want to do here. So, anyway, brother, I just, and I feel so sad for my friends because for a while they would and of course Scotland's, a few hours later than us.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while, they would tune into your show and we could talk about it. They and I would talk about it, and they're not even allowed to do that now. They can't even. They're even monitored as to who they call overseas. And in fact, Scotland has made it so darn hard for them to even call overseas. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Matt, but it just set my blood on fire.
No, the United. I mean, say what you will about Great Britain, the United Kingdom, and the manner in which they're acting now. This country, I mean, we broke away from them, obviously, and rightly so. And I'm glad, clearly, that happened in the way that it did. But we have great affinity for the United Kingdom, and they have had such cultural identity, such wonderful cultural identity. And not everything that they embraced within their culture was for me. But my goodness, you knew who you were talking to. I mean, the king, the queen, all these types of things. But they're losing it. They're absolutely losing it. MC is next. Hello, MC. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm well, Mr. Murphy. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for your call.
Well, I don't want to berate one of my fellow callers who I agree with, but Scotland is in Great Britain.
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there. Sure. I appreciate you handling that.
Yeah.
But I could talk about anything, but I'll talk about Arena's murder or the man over in the UK. But whatever happens in the United States, especially in the eastern part of the United States, almost always has happened. This is what my history professors taught me. It's almost always happened in either Germany or the UK, and it comes over here. Now, there is a segment, or your wife is, over in California, where they're greatly influenced sometimes by the Chinese. That's a recent thing. But anyway, I really wanted to talk about Persia, which believes that they are the preeminent power in the universe and that everything starts there. And that's Iran. And if anybody wants to understand what's going on with them right now and how our president's being whatever, I think he's sophisticated enough to know what's going on. But they just need to check out Darius III's war with Alexander the Great, which stretched from Turkey all the way to the Caspian Sea over years. And if you don't learn from history, what are you?
Doomed to repeat it.
That's right, doomed to repeat it. And I just want to say one thing about washing your hands. It's an old joke out of Alabama about at the Iron Bowl, a guy goes in the restroom and you can tell it either way you want, but one guy uses the bathroom, number one, and he washes his hand, and that other guy does, and he doesn't. And you can tell it either way you want, but the guy goes, "Hey, why aren't you washing your hands?" And the guy goes, "Well, at Auburn, they teach us not to pee on them." Anyway, you have a great one, brother.
That was always my response when we have these conversations about hand washing in the bathroom. I wash my hands when I feel like my hands are dirty. I don't wash my hands every time I go to the bathroom. And I'm tired of being judged by that. Sick of it. Now, let me tell you who judges you more than anyone else when we have this conversation. Jackson Williams. Jackson is... he does, Ken. He's ridiculous when it comes to the hand washing deal.
Just wash your damn hands.
Jackson, I don't pee on my hands.
I don't either.
Well, then why are you so obsessive with watching? I mean, have you not washed the things you're touching?
I have.
Are they dirty?
No.
So when you go in there, that's not dirty.
Have you been in our bathroom?
Your hands aren't dirty. Which bathroom? The one in there? It's a fair point, Jackson. It's a fair point.
Anytime you go here, you wash your hands.
Well, I wash my hands with a lot more regularity here. Do you wash your hands every time you go to the bathroom at home? Now, before you answer, y'all just be honest. I understand washing when you're out. Do y'all wash your hands every time you go to the bathroom at home? Y'all know y'all don't. You
Yes.
know y'all don't.
It depends on what was done.
Well, sure, Ken. I mean, yes. I mean, we're not animals here. I get that. I'm talking about the old number one.
Oh, well, sometimes you can do that without touching anything.
Especially if you got some stretchy shorts on.
Yeah.
You got those stretchy shorts, you can just go right through the leg.
Well, and you don't even have to touch anything to flush.
That's right.
Use your foot.
Yes.
Bottom of your shoe.
There's a ball game on. We got to get back to the television.
I use my elbow and my foot.
Well, but the thing is, at home, that I know that's clean. I know it is. It's all clean.
Especially if you don't touch anything.
If you don't touch anything, you're all good. Heck, sometimes I'll go right outside.
I like that.
I do too, boy.
There's nothing more satisfying than doing
It's
that.
just,
Well, there's a lot more.
oh, it's just free.
It's freedom.
Free Willy. Just woo. That's a movie. Have you ever seen that movie, Jackson? It's a good one.
I can't do that in my neighborhood, though. There's always somebody around. Always.
I have embarrassed my family by explaining to them. I very early on in our new house, I identified the places in the yard that I could pee outside without any of the neighbors seeing me. There's like 4 places where I could do it. And I just remembered that my neighbors across the street, Henry and Lisa,
They listen.
They listen to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all, I'm just funning. This is for the radio.
I was just joshing.
I don't really mean any of this stuff. I'm just doing this for the radio listeners' enjoyment. That's all, as far as you know. 22 after the hour. I'm going to go ahead and continue digging this hole while we listen to these commercial advertisement messages on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All these people on the super text, like, I wash my hands every time. No, you do not. Y'all are liars. Y'all are liars, and the truth ain't in you. All right, enough lying. Let's tell the truth about your AC. Let's tell the truth. Is it working properly? Now, if it's not, I know that you don't want to deal with it. I understand. I understand the attitude of, oh, Murphy, the last thing I want to deal with is a repair guy coming by and a maintenance charge and all that. Efficient makes it so easy. They get you scheduled, and on the schedule, they get to you jiffy quick. When they say they're going to be there, they're there. And one of their team members at Efficient Heating and Cooling with Jeff Eddy, they will figure out what's going on with your system, whether it's a cleaning and maintenance needed or it's a more serious issue. They're going to identify it. They're going to tell you exactly what's going on, explain it to you in ways that's easily understood, and then offer you options. I mean, they're not there to upsell you on a new unit. That's the last thing on their minds. It's what sets them apart from the other guys. They don't automatically say new unit time. Instead, they understand that you are a baller on a budget and you need this as inexpensive as possible. Efficient Heating and Cooling has got your back. Maintenance or replacement, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can help you out in that regard too. Give them a call today at 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or online at efficienthvac.net.
NES is speeding up its tree trimming efforts despite customer complaints. Details at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN 7868. Here's the truth. If I'm doing a walk-up, I zip it, go for the door every time. 5002.
A walk-up.
I don't know. That's a new one on me. 5002 says, no lies, I'm washing every time. Heck, I even wash my hands if I'm just ducking into the restroom to blow my nose. What?
Yeah, I do that, definitely. I mean, anytime I'm touching something, I'm washing. But like I said, sometimes you can walk up and you don't have to touch it.
The old walk up. Oh, sure. I would travel with my stepdad, and it would freak my husband out because he never washed his hands, says Sandra. Larry writes in and says, my girlfriend washes her hands in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you two are seasoned gentlemen.
What?
What if you got to get up for one of them
Seasoned.
old men peas?
Yeah.
You washing in the middle of the night?
No.
I'll give you that one. That's fair.
No.
Because you're barely awake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not hearing an answer from you, just a lot of laughing.
Seasoned gentlemen. We're in the winter season of our.
No, sir. I mean, if it's in the middle of the night, you're just going back to bed anyway.
All right.
I mean, it's not like I'm going downstairs to grab a snack.
It makes
what
more.
If you do go downstairs and grab a snack?
I mean, doesn't it make more sense to wash your hands before you go to the bathroom?
No.
I guarantee. Why? Why? Because your hands are the thing that has the dirt on it. Your hands are the things that have the germs on them. Your hands are far more germy than the other. The other thing's been snug as a bug in a rug.
Yeah, but the other isn't going to be making a sandwich.
Speak for yourself. I don't know what that means. A sandwich.
I need you to elaborate on your speak for yourself, Matt.
No. I got talents that you people don't even understand, okay?
Ken, it looks like Matt had an attachment put in with his shoulder.
It's like a Swiss Army knife. Inspector Gadget.
Go, Gadget. Never mind. I'm going to get fired.
I got to do the news, man.
Go, Gadget sandwich.
Oh.
It's 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, NES is speeding up tree trimming efforts in spite of many customers' complaints about how they were ripping trees apart in some cases. Channel 4's Brendan Tierney reports.
NES leaders say they can't slow down tree trimming right now without risking large outages in the next major storm. At this morning's board meeting, the power company announced they're going to start trimming trees across the city every 3 years instead of the current 4-year cycle. They're also starting to incorporate AI and other data into their systems to help find dangerous trees outside of the normal trimming schedule. But they are scaling back what they cut instead of trimming everything from the ground up to the sky near every power pole.
We're going to do a more horseshoe trim that will keep a 15-foot radial clearance below the lines. So the intent is that we will leave as much vegetation out on the system as possible that does not have a negative impact on our reliability.
Just last week, Metro Council members called for NES to pause its tree trimming program, but CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin and other leaders say that would put them even further behind schedule.
Well, the former personal assistant to Friends star Matthew Perry is the fifth and final defendant involved in Perry's 2023 death to learn his prison sentence. ABC's Alex Stone reports from Los Angeles.
Outside of court, an attorney for Kenneth Iwamasa said Iwamasa regrets not telling Matthew Perry no when Perry told him to repeatedly inject him with ketamine, including the fatal dose the day Perry died in 2023.
Kenny will regret the lack of action for the rest of his life.
While prosecutors say Iwamasa was an enabler and a drug supplier, his attorney said Iwamasa could not say no to his boss. The federal judge giving Iwamasa 3 years and 5 months in federal prison for his role in Perry's death. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Cool Springs, we got a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 65 northbound there at Moores Lane. Then in Hermitage, a crash, Old Hickory Boulevard, just south of Central Pike. Mount Juliet, a crash, 40 eastbound at Mount Juliet Road, exit 226. Bellevue, a crash, 40 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. And in Christiana, we've got a crash 24 eastbound just east of Epps Mill Road. And in Beech Grove, Coffee County, injury crash 24 eastbound before Beech Grove, exit 97. I'm Ken Weaver.
We are hearing, and obviously we're seeing, that certain interest rates within the mortgage industry have gone down to the point that perhaps you're considering buying a home. There's one for sale right next door to me. If you'd like, I can get you a lead on it. By the way, it's a beautiful house. I've been inside. That said, Accurate Mortgage is your place to go when it comes to all things mortgages. You're not just a number to make a quick buck at Accurate Mortgage. They are part of our community. I love these guys. Mike and his team, they understand how to make sure that you're getting the most out of your dollar, that you're not paying too much in terms of your mortgage, and that you're never entering into a bad situation. They will never, ever do anything that doesn't make sense for you financially, and you'll understand completely exactly what you're doing when you engage in a home purchase, for example, a refi, perhaps to pay off high-interest credit card bills or other debt. If that's the case, they can help you out there too. Plus, they can also help you get a refinance on your home to renovate your current house. That's an option as well. Go to AccurateMTG.com. That's AccurateMTG.com to find out more, to make a call to our friends at Accurate Mortgage. They are your local source for all things mortgages in our community. I use them for my home, and I would love it if you use them for yours. Accurate Mortgage at NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change. Equal housing lender. I encourage you to contact Accurate Mortgage today. Oh, there's so many questions on the super text line about the last segment. So many questions. Jason writes in and says, is Ken making sandwiches in the bathroom? 0360 said, I just about spit my peanut butter and crackers out of my mouth on my drive home after Ken said that. Said, y'all never kill Ken Weaver. I just about lost consciousness. By the way, how often are y'all peeing on your own hands?
Well,
1733 says, y'all are assuming that everybody's junk is as clean as y'all's. They aren't. They don't wash their hands. They grab the door handle. There's your problem.
See, that's why on your way out, you grab a paper towel before you grab the door handle. Or you, use your elbow.
My favorite comes from 8599, who says, y'all have made me feel so bad, I just got up to wash my hands for the hell of it. Before we get into nincompoops, Patrick has a thought on hand washing. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Patrick.
Maybe he's washing his hands.
Maybe he is. Oh, that's a good point. What? You don't say. Come on now. $5? All right. Well, if you say so, Patrick, I believe you. There's Patrick. Best call we've had all day. 615-737-9986. It's time for nincompoops in the news.
Nincompoops in the news.
All right, here we go. It's a midweek edition of Nincompoops. We've only had one under our belts. Ken Weaver not here for that edition, but I've got some news for him as to how the results turned out. You know, Jay Harper was playing for the room, Ken.
Yes, sir. And he's good.
He's good. He's good. It was a fair fight. But sadly, I'm here to report that I counted the votes myself.
Yeah.
And Jackson Williams won.
Way to go, Brother Jack.
By a singular vote.
It was by a single vote.
And the YouTube.
They took you over the top.
No, they didn't. You won the YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
It was between me and Jay for the win. Matt wins the YouTube poll by like one vote.
Mm-hmm. Very tight. 1 percentage point, actually.
Yeah, 1 percentage point.
Yeah.
And so Jay lost because they voted for Matt on the YouTube.
Oh.
That is the way that happened. And I'm sad to report.
I could wrap it up today.
How? Oh, yeah.
Because we're not here on Friday.
You guys are going to go have fun down there at the Speedway.
We are. We're mixing our days off this week. Jackson and I are gone Friday. Ken's here Friday. Brother Brian Wilson's here on Friday as well. And so today and tomorrow, the last 2 days of Nincompoops in the News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got a pretty good one myself there, Jackson. Jackson declared to me, Ken Weaver, at 2:45 this afternoon that he had won Nincompoops already. That's what he said.
Son of a
That's
biscuit.
what he said.
And I see which one he's using, too.
Oh, do you now?
Was it one you were going to use, Ken?
Jackson!
What's the order, Jackson?
Son of a biscuit.
The order will be King Williams first.
Uh-huh.
We'll let Weaver go second.
All right.
Murphy up the rear.
What?
Isn't that what you say?
It's bringing up the rear.
Same thing.
It is not the same thing. It is not.
I think I need to go wash my hands.
It is not the same thing. I've been to jail. It is not the same thing. Go ahead, Jackson. By the way, thank y'all for indulging us. It's a slow news day. Go ahead, Jackson.
All right. Elderly thong-wearing Florida man arrested after claiming his right to walk around naked.
I had this one, too.
Son of a biscuit eater.
I had this one, too.
You'll leave something out of it, though, Brother Jackson. Anyway, go ahead.
An elderly man who allegedly wore a G-string thong and plastered on lipstick in front of a female police officer was arrested on indecent exposure charges. Tyrone James Causey was arrested on May 22nd for allegedly consistently exposing himself and making lewd gestures at his apartment complex, which left residents fed up. At least 5 residents from the Hollywood, Florida apartment complex told police that Causey would regularly walk through the common areas making lewd gestures and was accused of thrusting his genitals at a woman's doorbell camera.
Goodness.
A frustrated neighbor called the police on Causey, saying that they were increasingly concerned and frustrated with his continued behavior.
They were increasingly frustrated.
When police officers...
This has been an increasingly frustrating situation.
When police officers
He doesn't even wash his hands.
When police officers showed up at Causey's door, he allegedly answered it wearing nothing but a G-string thong and claimed he had a right to walk around naked under Florida Statute 801 as long as he was not at a park. Hollywood. Hollywood. Wait.
I have it on good authority that I'm allowed to walk around here naked because this is not a park.
Hollywood Police Department officer Savannah Hutchinson told Causey that it was illegal for him to be publicly exposed, but he argued that he was allowed to and that he did not know he was being filmed, the outlet reported. In a bizarre twist, Hutchinson said the nearly nude senior put on lipstick in front of her and began touching himself and asked her to jump rope for me, baby doll.
What?
That's the line I like.
What?
In a bizarre... I'll read it again for those in the back.
Well, read it like you think he said it.
Oh, God. In a bizarre twist, Hutchinson said the nearly nude senior put on lipstick in front of her and began touching himself and asked her to jump rope for me, baby doll.
What does that even mean? Oh, I guess it bouncing, I guess.
Causey was then arrested and booked in the Broward County Jail, but was released as of May 22nd.
Sir, I'm going to need you to wash your hands.
Causey was initially charged with 5 counts of felony indecent exposure based on a prior 1987 indecent exposure arrest, making them second or subsequent offenses following a citation issued in connection with a May 14th police call. However, the felony counts were reduced after a Broward County judge found probable cause only for standard misdemeanor charges.
The super text line is suggesting that this fella is Exhibit A why we need to wash our hands because he's walking around touching all the doorknobs.
The doorbell, the Ring cameras.
Well, that's why you got to use the crook of your arm or your elbow.
You think they looked at the Ring camera?
After
They were
doing that.
like, oh, an Amazon package.
Yeah.
Oh!
Holy moly. Someone has suggested, Jackson, after this story, you don't need to wash your hands. You need to wash out your mouth.
That's very fair.
Fair.
Jump rope for me, baby
Jump
doll.
rope for me, baby.
Good grief.
Good Lord. There's some weirdos out there in the world, y'all. Weirdos.
Yes, sir.
Ken Weaver?
All right, this here's out of Palm Beach, Florida. A man facing multiple charges after Palm Beach police say he was found naked in a resort pool and refused to leave when ordered. According to an arrest report, officers responded on May 22nd to 2 North Breakers Row after security reported a man trespassing in the pool area. Security staff told police the man, later identified as 45-year-old James Gervasio, was seen completely naked in the pool and would not leave when asked. When officers arrived, they also ordered Gervasio to get out of the pool, but he refused, leading officers to physically remove and arrest him. Police said he resisted without violence during the encounter. During the investigation, officers said they found a vial containing a white rock-like substance that tested positive for crack cocaine, along with a pipe used to smoke narcotics. He also had rummaged through one of the private poolside cabanas where for some reason he stole a microwave manual and a temperature probe.
Whoa!
Is he making sandwiches?
Jump rope for me, baby.
We got to get that at exactly 96 degrees.
A temperature probe and a microwave manual.
Apparently he just wanted to read up on it.
I'll just need myself some coaxial cable, Vaseline, and a spatula, and it's going to be a hell of a night.
Goodness. He's facing charges of trespassing, indecent exposure, drug possession, resisting arrest, and burglary of a conveyance.
Golly. What do you think he's doing with that temperature probe, y'all?
Well, yeah. He's probably taking temperature the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe they say it. Maybe
Say
so.
that's the most accurate.
That's what they tell me. I've never believed it, but you just label them clearly. Just label them clearly.
And then wash your hands thoroughly.
And wash your hands completely. All right. Jackson, I need some audio video, please.
That's not fair according to Nincompoop bylaws 3121.
One Nincompoop rule. Well, two. Number one, you cannot repeat stories. Number two, nobody can die within the story. This is my Nincompoop in the news.
You think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan. I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
And what are you?
That is Governor Kathy Hochul of New York State. Governor Hochul, for those who cannot hear the question that was asked, and I know it's difficult to hear, I will transcribe it for you. The question was, or predicated by saying, Donald Trump has said that he has been a lifelong fan of the New York Knicks. You know, Donald Trump is thinking about going. The New York Knicks are in the finals. It's the first time they've been in the finals, I want to say, since 1998. 99. And they're now in the finals again after sweeping the entire playoffs thus far. And I think, Jackson, aren't they winning by an average of like 25 points or something like that?
Yeah, they're real good.
I mean, they're very good, and odds are they have a great – well, I mean, obviously they've only got one team to beat, and they can win a finals and win a championship for the first time since, according to Kathy Hochul, 1993. So she's being smarmy. Trump has said that he's a lifelong Knicks fan and he wants to go to a Knicks game. According to reports, Trump was thinking about going to Game 5 for the New York Knicks. Of course, they swept, no Game 5. So now he's talking about, as president of the United States, attending a New York Knicks basketball game in the NBA Finals, where I am certain he'll be lustily booed or whatever, and he'll get some cheers. Kathy Hochul was trying to own him. It became a self-own. Just listen to it again. Once again, the question is, Donald Trump says that he's a lifelong New York Knicks fan. What do you have to say about that?
You think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan. I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
I would ask him to name the starting lineup of the 1993 championship team. See what he says about that. Yes, Jackson.
I can.
All right.
At point guard, B.J. Armstrong. Not B.J. Armstrong. Something Armstrong. Shooting guard, Michael Jordan. Small forward, Scottie Pippen. Power forward, Horace Grant. Center, Bill Cartwright.
You know what? As far as I know, two of those are correct, and I am going to lean on your sports expertise to suggest that the other three are correct. You know why? Because the winning national championship team for the NBA in 1993 was not from New York, it wasn't the New York Knicks.
No, sir.
It was Chicago Bulls.
It was the Chicago Bulls.
That is the starting lineup for the 93 championship.
Good for you, Jackson. Kathy Hochul, that is a self-owned 1993 championship team. Shut up.
You know the last time the Knicks won the finals?
It was the year of my birth in 1973.
Yep. You know who was on that team who also won the championship in 93?
Bill Bradley.
Phil Jackson.
Oh, Phil Jackson.
He was a power forward on that Knicks championship team and then became a coach.
I guessed Bill Bradley only because I think Bill Bradley was a former U.S. Senator and Bill Bradley was an NBA player. And I want to say he played for the Knicks. Hey, fact check me, Jackson. What years did Bill Bradley, former U.S. Senator, play for the New York and Knicks? The Knickerbockers, they call themselves.
The New York Knickerbockers.
What was his name again?
What is a Knickerbocker, Ken?
I'm going to look it up.
All right, you look that up. You look Bill Bradley up. And I'm going to say that Kathy Hochul, I'm going to play this one more time. Kathy Hochul, you, ma'am, are completely...
You think of him saying he's a lifelong Knicks fan. I think that's how the Times reported it.
I asked him to name the starting lineup from 1993 championship team and see how he does.
Cell phone. Cell phone.
Michael Jordan's last championship before his baseball career.
Before he left the NBA because of all the gambling?
No.
What do you mean no?
He didn't leave because of gambling. He left because he wanted to play baseball.
Oh, come on. Come on, Jackson.
It says right here, a Knickerbocker's a sock. Or it's... Loose-fitting pants that end just below the knee. So they're pants.
The New York Pants advanced to the NBA Finals.
Wash your hands. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for JK and Erica Brister and our buddies at U.S. Pest. When you call U.S. Pest, you are getting professionals. When you call U.S. Pest, you're getting problem solvers. When they come to your home, they're not there to sell you something you don't need. They're there to find out if you have a pest control issue, if you have a termite issue, and if you do, they will give you an avenue for success when it comes to eliminating those pests out of your life. And that's what it's all about at U.S. Pest. The elimination of bugs and the diseases that they bring with them, whether it's spiders or roaches or even rats, mice, and other rodent-type creatures, they will eliminate them from you, from your life. They will get them out of your home. They'll get them off of your property, and you don't have to worry about it any longer. If you don't have pest control at your home, you need it through U.S. Pest. They're simply the best, friends. They do it better than anyone else. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. So call for a free quote. They'll come out to your home. They'll give you an examination, give you a free quote today. If you're not satisfied with your current pest control company, or if you don't have one, it's time to call U.S. Pest. 590-1260, 590-1260, or online at uspest.com for U.S. Pest.
Despite customer complaints, NES says it cannot slow down tree trimming efforts. We'll tell you about this story and more coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I cannot tell you the number of people that have reached out to all of us on this radio station, specifically Ken Weaver, Matt Murphy, and Jackson Williams, just to name three of the afternoon cohorts, talking to us about knickerbockers.
Yeah, it's pants.
Well, 1733 says knickerbockers are underwear, long underwear that go down to your knee, much like pantaloons. So I think we should call the New York team the New York Pantaloons. Huh?
Well, they just cut it short and call them pants.
The New York Pantas. I guess our pants. The word pants, that's short for pantaloons?
Maybe.
I guess. I don't know. I'm learning new things today.
Well, where did the term britches come from?
Well, we're going to find out, and I'm going to share that with you coming up in just moments from now after the real news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And despite customer complaints here in Nashville, NES says it cannot slow down tree trimming efforts without risking another major power outage from severe storms. And an NES official told today's power board meeting they're going to change how they trim trees. Instead of from the ground up all the way to the sky around every power pole.
We're going to do a more horseshoe trim that will keep a 15-foot radial clearance below the lines. So the intent is that we will leave as much vegetation out on the system as possible that does not have a negative impact on our reliability.
NES told today's board meeting they are going to start trimming trees every 3 years instead of the current 4-year cycle. And a Mount Juliet teacher and football coach claims he was fired because he reported a threat that a student made against football coaches and players after the kid was cut from the team. Charles Ware telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Bandis the principal reprimanded him and the students who reported it. Then he received notice he was getting fired.
Was I terminated because I was a poor teacher? Was I terminated because I was disruptive in the classroom or, I did improper and immoral things? The director of schools refused to tell me why I was terminated. He said they don't have to tell me.
Ware says he fears Mount Juliet Middle School could become the next Antioch High School. So far, no comment from Wilson County Schools. President Trump's 12th cabinet meeting of his second term is in the books. He opened it today with an update on Iran.
They're negotiating on fumes, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't.
And he touched on gas prices.
The primary urgency is that we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. But at the same time, we have a tremendous amount of oil, gas, coal. We have tremendous amounts of energy. We're blessed with something very special.
Trump administration has sent out $20.6 billion in tariff refunds so far, according to a new court filing. Here's ABC's Chuck Severson.
The filing sheds light on how tens of thousands of American businesses are starting to get money back after the Supreme Court ruled many of President Trump's tariffs were illegal. The new filing notes $85 billion in refunds have been accepted so far. UPS, FedEx, and DHL said they will directly refund customers. Walmart suggested last week it will cut prices for shoppers using the estimated $2.4 billion in refunds it's owed.
Payments to college athletes would be regulated in a bipartisan bill trying to, quote, fix college sports. The bill designed to break a congressional logjam would regulate payments to players, limit them to one free transfer over their careers, and create a so-called Lane Kiffin rule to restrict coaches from leaving teams during the season. Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell, briefing the Associated Press on the details, said the measure needs 60 votes to clear the Senate. All this follows a lawsuit settlement that allowed players to be paid. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Complete stop-and-go brake tapping continues on 65 northbound between Madison and Goodlettsville. Same thing for eastbound 24 from 40 east of downtown all the way beyond Briley Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
I imagine that we have had odder broadcasts in our 1,045 episodes, but I can't remember when. 7 minutes after 6 o'clock, and I feel I'm solely responsible for all of this. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. He's got one more batch of headlines to tell you about at 6:30 tonight. Jackson Williams is here with me until 7 o'clock, and we're here until they boot us off the radio, whichever comes first. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What?
Or Friday.
Or Friday. Oh, that's right. We're not here on Friday. A lot of votes coming in for the Nincompoops segment. I do say that Jackson is getting considerable votes. I have discovered the origin of the term britches. Is Weaver back there? Is he busy? He might be busy because he gets busy in the 6 o'clock hour. He's got a lot to do. Britches is actually, well, where'd it go? Britches is an alteration of the term breeches, which is an informal term for pants or trousers. Historically referring to knee-length garments worn by men, the word is now primarily used in rural, southern, and Appalachian application as a casual synonym for any pair of pants. In common usage, it is used in the terms too big for one's britches. Jackson is getting too big for his britches. Also, put on your britches, a casual, folksy command to get dressed or to hurry up. So there you go. I asked and answered. Nolene says this broadcast was wonderful fun, more than worth the price of admission. We try to do our best to make sure that you get what you pay for. In the meantime, there are other news items that we do need to get to. A 3-judge panel, this happened yesterday, part of the Davidson County Chancery Court dismissed a lawsuit brought by the Tennessee State Conference of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP. Other plaintiffs as well challenging Tennessee's newly redrawn congressional map. 27-page final order, which was issued yesterday. Chancellors Ann Martin, Tony Childress, along with Judge James Gass, ruled that the Tennessee General Assembly acted within the scope of the governor's extraordinary session proclamation when he approved 3 election measures earlier this month. That would be HB 7001, HB 7002, HB 7003. The lawsuit argued that lawmakers unlawfully used a special legislative session to repeal a longstanding prohibition on redistricting between the census. The courts rejected that argument and that claim in full, dismissing the case with prejudice, meaning it cannot be brought back up. According to the final order, the 3-judge panel determined that sovereign immunity barred claims against Governor Bill Lee and the General Assembly itself, leaving only Secretary of State Trey Hargett and the Coordinator of Elections, Mark Goins, as proper defendants. The judges then ruled that most plaintiffs failed to show this distinct and palpable injury necessary to establish standing. The judges also struck down plaintiffs' claim against the change to Tennessee's former statutory ban on redistricting. Another lawsuit challenging the new congressional map was also struck down recently in federal court, when Chief U.S. District Judge William Campbell issued an order blocking an emergency effort brought by the Tennessee Democrat Party and other plaintiffs. In other words, one would expect that these parties are going to appeal, but we look set to have new district lines when the voting starts in August with regard to primary elections, and then on to November we go. One would expect in a normal election cycle that we would have 9 Republican representatives in the Congress of the United States of America starting in 2027, as opposed to the 8-1 split that we currently have. But who knows what happens in a wave-type election. Once again, I don't think we need to take anything for granted, especially now. My concern, we began the show with me telling you about the little angel that lives on one shoulder and the little devil that lives on another shoulder. The angel and the devil represent negativism and positive attitude, a pessimistic outlook and an optimistic approach. I am naturally drawn toward pessimism, but I choose and demand of myself that I maintain a certain level of optimism for the future of the United States of America and the future of the state of Tennessee. And so I demand optimism when it comes to outcomes with regard to the possibility of getting a 9-0 sweep. That said, my concern about this switch all along has never been the legality. The legality has always been there. The supermajority of the General Assembly has the opportunity to redraw these district lines. My concern has always been and remains the outcome. If we sit on our laurels, if we expect that Tennessee will remain ruby red, we do not have one district at risk anymore. We have 3. I would suggest that 5, 4, and 9 are all risky districts now. I think 7 and 6 are still fairly Republican, definitively Republican, like plus 10 or more Republican. But 5, that's currently occupied by Ogles. 4, currently, obviously, Scott Desjardins' district. And 9, currently, Steve Cohen. He's not running again. It will be either Justin Pearson or London Lamar running as Democrats versus, I suppose, Brent Taylor on the Republican side. Those are 3 losable districts in an election where the Republicans don't turn out and where the Democrats do. My concern has always been that in a wave election where the Republicans don't realize they're about to get run over, instead of 8-1, instead of 9-0, you end up with 7-2, or God forbid, 6-3. I don't think that's going to happen. Once again, I wrestle with all of that. But it is more likely than it ever has been that 5 and 4 are at risk because of the redrawing of the lines. Now, if I choose to listen to the angel and be optimistic, I would say, no problem, we've got this. Encourage turnout, Murphy. Encourage people to go to the polls and vote in the midterm elections like their lives depended on it, because I think they do, and all will be well. And we will cross our fingers and hope that that is the case. 1972, how's Alabama and South Carolina's redistricting going? Not well for those that are attempting to do the redistricting. South Carolina decided not to try the redistricting this session. I believe that's right. I've not looked at the latest. I saw a story like 2 days ago where they voted it down. They voted the new district lines down in South Carolina. In Alabama, they were trying to redraw district lines. They attempted to draw lines in a way that would keep them at a 6-1 majority last time around, and that got thrown out by court because of the percentages of African Americans in the state of Alabama, and they were forced to draw lines that created 2, not 1, but 2 minority-majority districts in Alabama, and that led to a 5-2 majority for the Republicans over the Democrats. 2 Democrats serving in the United States House of Representatives and 5 Republicans. They tried to go back to that 6-1 majority Republican versus Democrat, and the courts struck that one down too. And it was primarily, I believe, I would have to go back and look at the story, but I think this is right. I think they struck it down because of timing. And there was something about the Voting Rights Act in there, and I'm not sure exactly what it was, but because I'll be honest with you, I just looked at the headline and maybe read the first paragraph of the story. I still pay attention to Alabama news, but obviously not in the way that I did when I once lived there. But Tennessee will see new district lines this session, my opinion. I can't imagine that you're going to see a higher court overrule what these lower courts have decided. But I'm not so sure. I mean, South Carolina is off the table now, and I'm not so sure about Alabama anymore. I think Alabama is going to have to wait until the next session, if they do it at all, based on that judge's ruling. But a 3-judge panel yesterday in the afternoon struck down the lawsuits against this redistricting line. So it looks as if these will be the lines, at least unless something unforeseen happens. U.S. Attorney Braden how do I pronounce this? Boucek. Boucek. That's what I'm going with, unless someone tells me otherwise. U.S. Attorney Braden Boucek told the Tennessee Star this past Monday that prosecutors in the Middle District of Tennessee are evaluating plans to appeal last week's ruling by the Obama-appointed District Court Judge Waverly Crenshaw, who dropped a federal human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, determining the Department of Justice, quote, failed to rebut the presumption of vindictiveness. The undisputed evidence shows that the decision to charge Abrego was made by a career prosecutor solely based on the facts and the substantial evidence that a serious crime had been committed and deserved prosecution, said Boucek. He also informed the Tennessee Star, and I'm reading from this story now, while we respectfully disagree with the decision to dismiss the case, we respect the judicial process, and we are currently evaluating the possibility of appeal. The statement from the federal prosecutor, who was confirmed as U.S. attorney late last year, follows a similar statement from the Department of Justice. Crenshaw determined in his ruling that despite Abrego Garcia's attorneys providing insufficient evidence to determine vindictiveness, the Trump administration simultaneously failed to rebut the presumption of What the hell is this guy talking about? Presumption of vindictiveness. The judge claims that was established last year while citing an interview by U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche. One way or the other, I still believe that there's zero chance that Kilmar Abrego Garcia ends up staying in the United States of America. He came here illegally. He will leave as an illegal alien. He currently is in this country as an illegal alien, and I frankly am fine with getting him to another country and dropping the rest of it because it's costing the United States a tremendous amount of money. But if this is the way that we have to proceed with the case, then so be that. I go to church with whom? 9919. Brian writes in and says, Franklin County Republican Party doesn't communicate with their conservative constituents. I've tried to get involved with them for 3 years repeatedly and kept getting no emails or newsletters. They made it clear to me that it is a buddies-only club. I'm always going to vote Republican, and I always vote. I do not, Brian, I don't consider myself a Republican. I would not belong to any club that would have me as a member. I'm a fierce independent when it comes to political affiliations and political positions on a variety of issues. I vote Republican far more than I would ever vote Democrat. As a matter of fact, the last time I voted Democrat was in 1992. It was one of the only times that I've ever voted Democrat in my life. And as a matter of fact, I cannot recall another time that I have. I voted for Bill Clinton in 1992. It was the first opportunity that I had to vote for President of the United States of America. I did not make the same mistake in 1996 and have not made that mistake since. That said, I do not belong to the Republican Party. I do not consider myself a conservative because I'm not. I'm a small L libertarian. The Republican Party club, if you will, in Tennessee is far too chummy. And they don't seem to like differences of opinion very much within their club. Now, it's their club. It's a private club. It's not mine. And so I suppose they can make any decisions that they want about who's allowed in it and who's not. But if they're going to continue to be exclusionary in their practices, I would suggest the state of Tennessee open up its opportunities to allow third-party candidates on the ballot. because that's the only fair-minded way to look at it, whether they be libertarian or any other party for that matter. Open up the ballot, allow for more and easier ballot access, and you can be as exclusionary in the Republican Party as you'd like, at least in terms of those who run and those who serve. 21 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm based right here in Middle Tennessee. For 2 decades now, Brink Fiddler and his team, they've helped clients like schools, corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms, manufacturing facilities, corporate headquarters, entertainment venues, country music tours, and more. They train to help you understand what to do in the unlikely event that you have a breach of security. They've consulted on security design and readiness for a variety of different projects. They provide customized protection solutions that are unique to your location and your security issue. They've trained I don't know how many Middle Tennessee schools. If your child's school has not received training, then you need to contact the great people of Defend Systems. The training goes far more than just checking a box for your employees. It will truly give them a life skill that they can apply outside the workplace as well. Active violence is sadly a reality in modern society, and these events seem to be happening more regularly than ever before. The chances of you experiencing an active violent situation in your workplace, at your school, at your place of business, or whatever, is very low, but it's not zero. That means hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained with Defense Systems. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or online at defensesystems.com. That's defensesystems.com. Buchek is the way to pronounce the gentleman's name. Thank you to our fine listeners. 9919 was trying to tell me that. Braden Buchek is the U.S. attorney in the Middle District of Tennessee who's determining whether or not to appeal the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. Buchek. Jackson, are you monitoring nincompoops in the news and the leader in the clubhouse over there?
YouTube voting has closed, and
yeah. Hold on, stand by. I'll look. You want me to look?
I won.
Yeah, of course you did. Oh, barely. 38% Jackson, 36% Matt Murphy, 26% Ken. I think you're winning on the. Text side of things too.
You know what that means?
I do not, Jackson. Oh wait. Oh jeez.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I've not finalized the votes yet.
Okay.
You need to put that horn back in your horn case. Sir. I'll ask you not to point that thing at me. Thank you. Sir. You need to go wash your hands. Yeah.
Hit the wrong button there.
You need to go wash your hands, sir. Little horn blower. We'll total that up. The Boston Public Library has scheduled. So it's like these woke people have just decided that they're going to try to do things to freak us all out, and it doesn't really work. But whatever. I don't even know what they're doing anymore. The Boston Public Library has scheduled blank drag queen story hours across its branches through the month of June, because June is apparently Gay Pride Month. I'm on record as saying that I understand that there was a time when gay people couldn't be openly gay or whatever, and that bothered them greatly. And there was a movement that indicated that you should be proud of who you are and proud of your, choice and sexuality or whatever. And so you shouldn't be in the closet. You shouldn't be afraid of it. I mean, I understand that. Whatever. I don't care, but that's fine. But at this point, you have spent the better part of my lifetime arguing to me that your sexuality is not a choice. Secondarily, we live in a society where you are not treated poorly. You are not treated differently in daily life as a result of your sexuality. Frankly, for a large portion of us in American society, we don't care. We don't care. And if we care, we only, for the most part, people that care, that reach out to you, if you live a different type of sexual lifestyle than the person reaching out, they're doing so out of kindness. They care about your eternal salvation more than anything. For my part, as long as you are not endangering others through force or fraud, or you're not engaging in activities with people that are not at the age of consent, I don't care what you do. If you're consenting adults, that is up to you and your maker. In a freedom-loving society, I don't have to associate with it. I don't have to be a part of it. But I don't care, and I don't understand what you're so proud about. No one cares, and I thought that's what you wanted. Am I being hard-hearted about this? I thought that's what gay people wanted, for nobody to care if they were gay. And now that we don't care, they're running around demanding that we care. Jackson, you want to guess how many drag queen story hours there will be at the Boston Public Library for the month of June?
I'm going to guess only weekdays. 15?
19. It's a good guess, Jackson. The Boston Public Library has scheduled 19 drag queen story hours across the month of June, most of which are designed for children ages 18 months to 5 years old. That's just gross. That's just unnecessary. Why are you insisting that 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds get drug into this cultural conversation? Makes no sense to me. Unless it's for grooming. Oh, wait, just made sense to me. Never mind. 31 after the hour. We'll get back to this story in a moment. Your telephone calls as well, 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, what, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call or reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
If you've ever had a loved one that has had a medical scare, or perhaps someone that's had a major medical situation, then you know the pain that it can cause you. You also know the wonder. The wonder about, well, I wonder what would have happened if we'd have caught this earlier. I wish we had have known earlier. Well, at Kraft Body Scan, they can help you know what you don't know right now, and you don't have to feel symptoms to know. Question for you, when it comes to your health, wouldn't you rather know what's going on inside of your body? I think, of course, you would. A lot of people who feel great have no idea that something is going on underneath the surface, and if you are concerned at all about that, or if you just don't know, it is time to call Kraft Body Scan. They are a wonderful technology right here in Nashville, and I absolutely love it. And they're offering their couples heart and lung scan for just $99. What an incredible value. What you do is go to togetherwescan.com and put in promo code MATT50. And I would appreciate you doing that. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. Why? Because I do believe, I've done this myself. I've had in my life, there's been many medical scares with my family members, and And we've had situations. I mean, my mama is a good example. She had a malignant brain tumor, and one wonders what would have happened if we'd have been able to catch that sooner. Call 615-436-1000, 615-436-1000, or go online, once again, togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. Don't just hope everything's okay. Know everything is okay with the Couples Heart and Lung Scan from Kraft Body Scan. Dr. Kevin Mitchell sponsors Nincompoops in the News with his big Wellness Institute of Nashville trophy, and we appreciate that. It's all in good fun, friends. Here's what's not in good fun. If you are hurting as a result of pain in your back, your neck, your knee, your hips, your elbows, wherever it might hurt, friends, you need the Epic Spinal Special in your life. $33 off every visit at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Plus, they have the most modern techniques and technologies at their fingertips to help you feel better and have less pain on your person, wherever it might hurt. Do not rely on pills. This is just masking and covering it up. Don't rely on the shots to block the pain because, once again, that's just masking it and covering it up. And obviously, surgery is on the table, but it's always a last option, or at least it should be. With the Wellness Institute, they use modern technologies like spinal decompression, like the hydrowave technology, and obviously the Medical Bay one that we've been talking about, which is an invention of Dr. Mitchell himself that can help accelerate healing through tissue regeneration and photons for wavelength and ultimate healing in that process. Friends, get with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009. 246-5009. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you. They have my seal of approval. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy Show. The Founding Fathers wore knickerbockers. You know, I mean, you could call them knickerbockers. I would call those plus fours, what the Founding Fathers wore. And I suppose that, you know, maybe there's an argument that those are the same thing. I don't know. I don't know the etymology of all of the lingo involving pantaloons, four squares, plus fours. No, four squares is a different thing. Four squares is a game. Plus fours is what I meant. Four squares, knickerbockers, pantaloons, breeches, breeches, or dungarees. Now, dungarees, I believe, are typically considered like blue jeans. Early versions of blue jeans. I'm looking, Matt Murphy, there is an Eastern Conference Championship, which has a trophy, which is what, 3449 is trying to defend Kathy Hochul. Didn't the Bulls beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yes.
So 3449, I appreciate your attempt. Matt Murphy, there's an Eastern Conference Championship, which has a trophy, and that's what the Knicks just won to advance to the finals. I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying that the Bulls beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Championships, so they wouldn't have been Eastern Conference champions either. Obviously, Kathy Hochul got her decades wrong. She meant 73, not 93. She was trying to zing Donald Trump, and instead, she zung herself, so to speak. I was talking about the library in Boston that's holding 19 different drag queen story hours. Why don't drag queens ever, do they do story hour for the senior citizens in the world? Do drag queens do story hour, or do they engage in any entertainment opportunity for adults? Why is it just the kids? I don't care. And I mean this with all sincerity. Absent your eternal salvation and your eternal life, and God bless you in that journey, I do not care what you do with your life, so long as you are not depriving others of their rights to live a life of their choosing, so long as you are doing things with consenting adults and you are not impacting those who cannot make mature decisions as to how they want to live their lives. As long as you're not attempting to influence unduly children in any way whatsoever, you go for it. You do you. And if you're a fella and you want to dress up in a traditional outfit or an outfit that would traditionally be expected to be worn by a woman, in other words, if you want to dress up like a girl, whatever. I don't care. I really don't. You don't matter to me. But why the hell are you attempting to get around kids all the time? I don't understand the purpose. I mean, I really don't. Except for the obvious reasons. That you are attempting to perpetuate a lifestyle that should only be exposed to individuals of a certain age. Hosts for the Boston Public Library event include Miss Patty, who's leading 17 of the scheduled story hours, Rose Quartz, who is reading at one event, and Just GP or JP, who is hosting a bilingual drag story time. According to the event description, JP's story time is for ages 3 and up. Other events include all ages story time that celebrates all kinds of families. Kids can also make fidgets, keychain decorations, and wearable art with an LGBTQ plus pride theme. Drag Queen Story Hours began in 2015 in San Francisco and have taken the country by storm ever since. In the state of Tennessee, we, rightly so, passed the Adult Entertainment Act, which banned adult cabaret-style performances from public areas where children may be present. At least 14 other bills have been proposed or passed in states like Arizona, Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, South Carolina, Texas, and West Virginia. Once again, the level of mischaracterization of what we are doing with all of this is absurd. I sincerely, I look you in the eye, I do not care what you are doing, as long as you're doing it with a consenting adult and you are not violating anyone else's rights to life, liberty, and their own pursuit of happiness. You do you. Leave the kids alone. Leave the kids out of it. Why must you insist to include the children? Why is it so important for you drag queens to expose the children to what you are doing? Except that you are grooming them, which is what the parents of many of these children want to stop. It is unfair. Allow them to be grown-ups first, or at least older first. That's all. That's all. In the meantime, Ken Weaver has been telling you about this story regarding the Nashville Electric Service, which I think is very hilarious. So they got caught with their proverbial pants down with the winter storm. When Teresa Broyles-Applin, for those who are unfamiliar with the well-told story that we discussed at length and ad nauseum in the aftermath of the ice storms, Teresa Broyles-Applin came in 2023, I want to say, and she made it a pointed effort on her watch as CEO of the Nashville Electric Service that she would not cut canopy unless absolutely necessary. As a matter of fact, it was a stated goal on the part of NES that they would protect canopy if at all possible. Canopy being trees hanging over power lines. Obviously, this became an absolute disaster during the ice storm. And so they have swung the pendulum back the other way, and they are cutting with wild abandon, almost as if they are attempting to punish those in Davidson County and in the city of Nashville, punish those who were NES customers who had the audacity to suggest that maybe they should have seen this coming. My point was always, you can have the canopy any way you want, but you better be prepared when the ice storm comes, because if you've not cut the canopy, then you're going to get a bunch of limbs down, and that's going to take a lot of power out. And apparently they decided to not cut the canopy and not be prepared either. Well, now the NES Power Board governing the utility took no action to slow their new policy of trimming trees. The Nashville Metro Council attempted to pass a moratorium urging a new trimming policy be stopped after until NES completed a study to determine its necessity. A new policy rolled out after the historic winter storm left 230,000 customers without power at its peak. NES is now assessing and trimming more than 2,800 miles of additional lines to address storm-damaged trees that pose risks of outages after already completing about 600 miles of trimming by January. Council resolution's non-binding, meaning that this one does not compel NES to take any action. NES Vice President of Engineering Daniel Johnson told board members during their May 27th meeting that if we stop pruning, NES gets further behind on our trimming goals, and that will lead to high risk of vegetation-related outages, particularly in spring storm season. In other words, they're not going to get caught twice. Good for them. Once again, it's up to the neighborhoods themselves to decide how they want their trees trimmed. I just want a little level of consistency. If you're not going to trim the trees, then you have to expect that when the ice storm comes, you've got to have more people, more manpower ready to go, because you're going to get more outages as a result. I understand wanting to have nice trees in your neighborhood. I get it. But on the back end, you better be willing and ready to protect your neighbors and to be without power for a certain amount of time, because we see what happens when you don't trim them. Get a lot of issues going on. Plus, you could always bury the lines, but that's not a very cost-effective way of getting it done. It's going to cost a lot of money, in other words. It is 11 till the top of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I had a great opportunity to stop by Timberland Cabinets a few weeks ago, and I said, guys, I got to talk about y'all on the radio. Y'all are so good at what you do. Started in 2005. They have an incredible regional reputation, and they specialize in high-quality kitchen and bathroom cabinets. Friends, I walked through this showroom in Columbia, and I was just slack-jawed. I mean, beautiful cabinets of all types of styles and makes and whatnot. They've served homeowners and home builders and remodelers and dealers across the United States of America, and they especially love serving us here in Middle Tennessee. They operate showrooms, I should say, in Columbia and Franklin. I took a tour of the facility, and I got to tell you, it reinforced my understanding that the company is top-notch when it comes to craftsmanship, quality, and manufacturing credibility. I mean, everything's made right here in Middle Tennessee, which is nice. This is solid wood. This is hardwood. These are not particle board cabinets. No, sir. No, ma'am. These are core cabinet. They have their foundation and their reputation. It really does depend on it. The Timberland Cabinetry promise premium quality cabinets built for beauty, durability, and everyday functionality, and trusted in Middle Tennessee since 2005. Go to TimberlandCabinets.com for more information. That's TimberlandCabinets.com, and call Timberland Cabinets. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Enough time to tell you about two building adventures, one in Seattle, Washington, and the other in Washington, D.C. Jackson, have you seen an image of the White House lately over the last few days?
A lot of building.
A lot of building going on at the White House, boy. Not only are they building a new ballroom on what the plot of land that at one time was the East Wing of the White House, cranes are lifting giant metal arches into place this week for what is the... Would you go? I would go in a heartbeat, boy.
Oh, yeah.
To the UFC fight? Do you have your... Jackson, I'm not asking you to answer in a political fashion, but I'm wondering, do you have your panties all in a wad like many of my liberal friends over what they consider to be a disgrace on the White House grounds?
Not really.
Nah.
It's a little gaudy.
It's gaudy. So I'm watching on social media, oh my goodness gracious, the pearl clutching that's happening amongst the liberals. He's destroying. This is ridiculous. He's making the White House look like a... It's awful. Donald Trump, I got to feel like this happened somewhat along these lines. He's friends with Dana White, who is the owner of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Donald Trump's turning 80 on June 14th. It is also Flag Day on June 14th. There is a UFC fight that's happening on the White House grounds on that day. Donald Trump said at an Oval Office event earlier this month, we're having a big fight. Never going to happen again. Never happened before. Trump also showed off a picture of the so-called octagon, the 8-sided UFC ring bounded by a chain-link fence, surrounded by seats against the backdrop of the White House. The billionaire Republican, I'm reading obviously from a liberal rag. 4,500 people are going to be able to watch on the lawn itself. Another 100,000 be able to watch free on screens just outside of the White House grounds. Trump has attended a series of fights, has endeared himself to the core fan base of young men, key demographic, et cetera, et cetera. So liberals are just absolutely freaking out about it. I think it's great. No one's ever done this to the... Have any of these people never heard of Andrew Jackson? You know the stories about Andrew Jackson in the White House?
A little bit.
He used to throw parties, man. You just come on up and you grab yourself some whiskey or some mead or whatever the hell they got in that barrel over there, and you just have at it. You enjoy yourself. Throw down. When the time comes, get out of here. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Got to go home. Can't stay here. Andrew Jackson used to throw down at the White House, y'all. This is nothing new. Oh, by the way, I love the fact that liberals are so insane about this. One, they hate UFC. They hate everything masculine. They hate manly activity like boxing or ultimate fighting. And they sure as hell hate Donald Trump. And it's part of why Donald Trump is doing it. And it's part of the reason I love it. Story number 2 about building. Democrat socialist Mayor Katie Wilson of Seattle is being mocked online over the irony of residents in the Blue Run City erecting barriers and walls, literally walls, around their neighborhoods in a desperate attempt to stop out-of-control shootings. Just months after Mayor Katie Wilson took office, she's a self-avowed socialist, because what could go wrong? Terrified residents in the city's Aurora Avenue corridor decided to take matters into their own hands to address nearly nightly shootings, believed to be connected with criminal turf wars, prostitution, and illegal drug trafficking. After weeks of gang-related shootings and high-speed car chases, residents spent Memorial Day weekend blocking off their own streets using metal planters, dirt, gravel, logs, chunks of concrete. The barriers were set up to block at least 3 streets leading into the neighborhood. Obviously, they're incurring fines. One resident named Peter Orr told KTVB Channel 7, "It's either this or bullets in my neighbors' houses. I choose this." News of the barricades has garnered scorn for Wilson's policies online. Among those, The irony is undeniable. When progressive policies result in neighborhoods literally barricading themselves off, that says everything. What should Seattle leaders be doing so residents don't feel forced to do this? Seattle residents are now literally building walls on their streets to keep criminals out. Blue City residents in Seattle now building their own barricades to block streets because shootings are so high. It is absolute madness. And the socialist mayor in this case is ignoring it. My goodness. Socialism. Nothing good comes from it. That's going to wrap it up for us. For Jackson Williams, Ken Weaver, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Hug your loved ones. Until tomorrow, so long, everybody.